It's the new spot for local sports talk in the afternoon. Cattles and Ramie.
I describe him as the best, obviously.
It's Cattles.
He throws it out there. Speaks his mind. That's cool.
It's Ramie.
He's supposed to make people laugh. He's just an expert at it.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports, 1140.
Sunglasses inside? Is that what we're doing today?
I'm not wearing them.
This guy's got his sunglasses on. He forgets to put his
I
microphone
did forget
on.
to put I'm not wearing the sun. Should I take them off the hat? I thought it was too much.
No, you're good.
I thought it was too much. All the blue and orange.
You're fine.
I'll go with it, Ramie.
Oh, look at Verlot.
No, that's a bad look.
I wear my sunglasses. Look at this guy.
I don't know if you guys ever heard what Larry David had to say about sunglasses inside, but I can't say it because of the FCC on these airwaves.
You get kicked off.
Yeah.
Well, if it was Larry David, I'm pretty sure it was really funny because he's one of the funniest human beings that's walking the planet.
I would never wear
football
sunglasses.
Friday, getting
man.
you ready. Of course, we've got the Niners this weekend. We've got the Raiders this weekend. Niners play Chicago in Chicago. Raiders Chargers this weekend on Sunday as well. So, listen, we have a lot of football to talk about. A ton of football.
Oh, keep saying it, man.
Myself and Ramie are very excited. Last night, I really, yesterday we talked about this. With it being 115 degrees outside, I couldn't really get into the football feel.
You didn't have the energy for it?
No, but when they kicked off last night, it happened. I felt a little tingle.
Oh, a little tingle.
A little tingle.
I told you I had a tingle yesterday during the show. You said you weren't tingly.
I got tingly.
I was tingly.
I saw the kickoff. I got tingly.
I was very tingly.
I'm tingling for football now.
Oh, man.
So we've got a lot to get to.
Hairs on my arms standing up.
Let's start with the Niners, and let's start with this season, okay? I want to look big picture. I want to look from 30,000 feet this season, what we think is going to happen with this football team. And, of course, all day long, you are more than welcome to give us a call. You can text us as well as we break down this football season. But when we talk about the Niners and what might happen in 2022, Ramie, a lot of people are talking highly of the Niners before this season kicks off, and one of those people is Chris Sims.
I think it's them or the Eagles are the best O-line. The Browns are right there with them. So, but to me, they just have everything in that standpoint. And then you got George Kittle, and then Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. It is very special, those two. And you even add in the kid Gray from SMU who can fly, right? So I look at that. Okay, he's damn good. The D line, I'm projecting like Javon Kinlaw to be a killer a little bit.
Ooh.
And I think Nick Bosa, as we talked about, is unquestionable, like one of the best defensive players in football.
Right.
I have faith in the other guys on the edge. That, of course, Eric Armstead's amazing. Warner, I think, is the best middle linebacker in football. So, I get into that. I talked about the safeties a little earlier here. L'Jarius Sneed at corner. I like that aspect of it. So I look at them and the running backs. I just go, what is the issue with them? And that's where I guess I make them the number one roster in all of football.
The number one roster in all of football. Couple of things. I'm not the kind of guy that jumps on the air and just crushes other people that do this for a living.
Yeah.
But a couple of things from Sims.
That had to be heavily edited for those who don't
yes.
know.
Chris Sims Unfiltered. All of a sudden.
Chris Sims is working blue now.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
I had no idea.
He's Eddie Murphy Raw on his podcast all of a sudden. A couple of things. L'Jarius Sneed doesn't play for the Niners. That seems to be an important detail here. If you're going to talk about Sneed, he's not. It's not happening. Okay? Like, if that's what you're going to do. And he brought up Sneed. And, to me, that is a big time swing and a miss. L'Jarius Sneed plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. Whoops. Secondly, the offensive line. This is not one of the best offensive lines in football. One of the biggest questions, you and I have talked about it, is the interior of this offensive line. So take what Sims had to say with a grain of salt, but he's not the only guy talking about this football team being really good. Here's Vernon Davis with Damon and Ratto this week.
This team is stacked. If the quarterback position is the way it's supposed to be, solid, great foundation, this team is going all the way. No doubt about it. Because they have everything else. I mean, they can only add to what they have, and I think they're doing a tremendous job from the upper management standpoint. They know exactly what they need, and they seem to know how to get it done. So I think it's going to be a tremendous year for the San Francisco 49ers.
Ramie Maclove, Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports. Where are the Niners headed in 2022?
Now you're right about the swings and misses, the errors that Sims had in his analysis there. But I was sitting on my couch a few nights ago, probably watching something NFL related, and my mind just started to wander and sort of breaking down this 49ers roster. And when you look at it and everything that Sims said, I don't know if I'd go best in the league when talking about a roster. I don't know every roster as well, as intimately as the ones that I cover and the ones that I root for.
Right. I think
you
Bills,
know what I mean?
I think the Bills would have an argument. I think the Buccaneers might have an argument. Those are a couple of teams that jump out to me.
But man, when you look at how many guys, and not just at random positions, at the most premium of positions in the NFL, when you talk about left tackles, when you talk about wide receivers, when you talk about pass rushers, when you talk about linebackers, there aren't many teams that have as many guys studded around their roster that are in the top 5, if not in the discussion for the best at their position as the 49ers do. This is a damn good roster, man. That's why I keep saying you're in the middle of a Super Bowl window and handing the keys over to a quarterback. We did our predictions for SactownSports.com. Folks should go and check it out. And I said in the little paragraph that I wrote, this team on talent alone, this roster is good for 10 wins, almost regardless of who's getting under center for this. If you get average quarterback play, which is basically what they've gotten from Jimmy Garoppolo over the tenure of his time as the quarterback. If you get average quarterback play, this team is good for 10 wins. I got to imagine Kyle Shanahan, one way or another, whether it's through Trey Lance or whether it's through Jimmy Garoppolo or some combination thereof, is going to get better than average play from the quarterback and the offense as a whole. I think this is an 11-win football team this year, and 10 of those are just on the talent of the roster alone. If they have something in Trey Lance that's special, I think we could be talking about a 13, 14-win football team here.
It doesn't make for exciting radio, but I agree with you. I've got them at 11-6, and I ran through the schedule last night. Look, we all do the whole WLLWWW thing, right? We all play that game.
I think it's fun.
We talk about Trey Lance, and of course, a lot of this, will depend on how Trey Lance is supported and how he's coached. But when you look at this schedule, they have a legitimate shot at starting this season at 5-1. Now, it's going to be difficult, right? But after watching the Rams last night get absolutely cooked by the Bills, that Rams game and the Niners.
What's that do to your tingle? We'll talk about that later.
That Rams game, I don't think was as, worrisome for the Niners as some maybe other teams, because as we've talked about, the Niners have pretty much owned the Rams. I know the NFC Championship game, blah, blah, but come on. We all know the last 3 years or so, Sean McVay, head coach of the Rams, he's been beat up by the Niners for the most part. So, look, they can beat the Bears. They can beat the Seahawks. They can beat the Rams at home for sure. They can beat the Panthers and the Falcons. That's 5 wins. The only game that I would actually be worried about right now would be the Broncos in Denver, the first 6 games. So if you go 5-1, Ramie, all you've got to do is finish 6-5. Mm-hmm. I'm not a math major, but if you finish 6-5, that puts you at 11-6.
Let me double check that.
Yeah, does my math work?
Yeah.
Carry the one?
Yes.
11-6 right there in front of your face. It's very attainable. And I also agree with you. The quarterback position, we've spent a lot of time talking about Trey Lance. I said this a few weeks back. Trey Lance's floor to me is Jimmy G's ceiling almost. Like, if Trey Lance is average at what he can do, he's still going to give you more than Jimmy Garoppolo because he has a better arm and he's a much better athlete. They've got the run game. Kyle Shanahan's scheme works. It doesn't matter if it's me or Macloff in the backfield. We could probably run for 850 yards with Shanahan being the coach.
My knees are no good.
Still. All right, maybe 750.
Yeah, maybe.
And the weapons, Debo, Ayuk, Gray, those are the names that Chris Sims got right on this football team. They've got weapons. They've got the scheme. They've got the coaching staff.
And neither of us even mentioned one of the best tight ends in this league and one of the best offensive weapons for a quarterback in George Kittle.
George Kittle. And you also look at this defense, and I think this defense could actually be better this year. They were banged up last year at corner. Mm-hmm. They had to depend on Ambry Thomas an awful lot last year. Will that be the case this season? Well, hopefully they are healthier. Travarius Ward is now part of this secondary. Of course, Jimmy Ward, got to figure that out. What's going to happen with him? Can he get healthy? Can he stay healthy? But I think if this defense is healthy, they have the talent to be a top 5, 6, 7 defense in this league. And with this offensive scheme, all you've got to do is run the football and hope your quarterback's average. With that schedule, you start 5-1, you get the confidence going, you start feeling good about yourself. This team, I think 11 wins is on the schedule right now. Their defensive backfield should be better, and their defensive line depth, I think, is good. Javon Kinlaw needs to show up. He needs to be consistent. But I think this is an 11-win football team. I want to get the thoughts of the people listening. 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Check us out. youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Ramie and myself have the Niners at 11-6, going to the playoffs with a shot at a run. We want your thoughts on this football team. What is your record, and why is that your record? Also, where are the Raiders headed in 2022? We just told you about the Niners. We'll talk about the Raiders in 90 seconds.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports 1140. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people that play. It's the new spot for local sports talk in the afternoon. Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Chris Loza on YouTube, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Hello, Sacramento family, checking in from Cabo. I can be anywhere in the world. I'll always have you guys in my back pocket. Love everything you guys do.
Never been. You ever been to Cabo?
No, but I want to go. I've been told that there's a direct flight from here to Cabo.
Really?
Yeah, that isn't too bad. It's about a 3-hour flight, too.
Show trip?
Show trip. All right, fellas, you ready? Show trip. I don't know how that'll go. Might get a little interesting. But show trip, if you want it, you got it, Ramie. If you want it, you got it, my friend. Ramie and I both have the Niners at 11-6 this season. We think the schedule lays out very nicely for them. We believe that Trey Lance will be good enough. He might not make you forget about Jimmy Garoppolo right away, but we think he'll be good enough. And the rest of this roster is talented enough to win 11 games. We want your thoughts on that. 916-339-1140. Also 1-800-920-1140. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. We'll get to the Raiders in a minute. First, I want to let you know that it is time to see the return of Pro Rodeo to Marysville next Saturday and Sunday, September 17th and 18th. For ticket info, go to MarysvilleStampede.com. All right, Ramie, our thoughts, Niners in the ether. Let's move to the Raiders. Excitement surrounding this football team. All the additions they've made. Josh McDaniels, new head coach. Dave Ziegler, new GM. Of course, they bring in Devontae Adams. They bring in Chandler Jones. The expectation surrounding the Raiders very, very high, even though they're in a very difficult division in the AFC West, arguably the best division in football this year. Here was Davante Adams this week discussing the expectations.
Well, I don't think we're really paying too much attention to any expectations or setting any ourselves even. We haven't played together yet, so we don't really, based off of, if you look at the roster, there's the expectations on the outside. But as far as what we're doing, we're just trying to lock in and do the best we can do with what we got. And I think so far we've done a good job at managing that and kind of blocking out the outside noise. And there's not a lot of noise saying, the Raiders are as good as what we can be, on paper. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Locked in on us and trying to go out and put together the best film we can.
I mean, that's the way you've got to attack it, right? Who cares what's on paper? We know people are talking about us. We're not worried about that. There was Adams. Here is Derek Carr.
Yeah, I'm just excited to start the season. As we all know, I mean, whatever we do in the first game, we're going to go watch film, make the corrections, and just try and get better as the year goes. And so there's no certain expectation or this or that. I mean, we just expect to play good football, sound football, trust our rules, all those things, and try and do as right as possible. You know what I mean? And see where that takes us. And so definitely excited to get out there with our guys.
All right, Ramie, what about the Raiders?
Do I have to put a number on this?
If you don't want to, look, I'm not going to put a water pistol to your head or anything.
No, I mean, and we talked about this the other day, Nick. This is one of the toughest teams to try and pin down.
It is a lot of swings.
As far as figuring out what this season could look like, because for everything that you can point out about this football team that looks good and is strong, there's a but. You know what I mean? Like, you have Derek Carr, you have Davante Adams, you have Waller and Renfro, and but that offensive line is a problem. You know what I mean? You got a real good defensive front, and they should be able to put some pressure on quarterbacks. Yeah, but the secondary is kind of a mess.
Right.
You look at them overall, and you go, that's a pretty talented, not as talented as what we were just talking about with the 49ers, but you go, that's a good team. There's probably 9 wins on paper there just in talent alone. And then you go, but that division. You know what I mean?
Are they offensively better than the Niners? I would lean yes.
You think so? Yeah. You know what? I have to say just because Derek Carr is more of a known commodity than what you have in Trey Lance.
Because both offensive lines are kind of, I feel better about the tackles, obviously, with San Francisco. But when you look at the interior offensive line there, the Raiders are kind of all over the place on the offensive line.
I'm going to put them in.
And so I don't appreciate your tone either.
Sorry, Derek. It is what it is, my friend.
It is. Yeah. Can't sugarcoat this for you, man.
We got to shoot it straight, buddy.
It's really hard, man. I could be way off. I could be way off on this prediction. I'm going to put them at 10 wins. I'm going to say they win 10 games, and I could be way off. Like, that could swing 3-4 games in either direction. I legitimately believe that could swing 3-4. Usually when I make a prediction, I know I'm within a game or 2 at the most.
Yeah.
This could swing 3 or 4 games. I don't even want to put a number on it because we could be so wrong when it comes to the Raiders.
I can't stand you. I've got them at 10-7 too.
We didn't coordinate this. This
should tell people we don't search up for controversy or heated radio. I got them at 10-7. I have them as a wild card team, but you're right, Ramie. The margin for error for this football team, when you look at their schedule, there are a lot of games that you can kind of swing either way. I think they have to win 5 or 6 games on this schedule for them to get 10-7. Here are the games that I think they have to win. I think they have to beat New England and Vegas. They've got to beat New Orleans. They've got to beat Houston. They have to beat Jacksonville, and they have to beat Pittsburgh. Those 5 games. If they lose,
those are the most winnable games on their schedule.
If they lose 1 or 2 of those games, 10-7 can quickly become 7-10. So the New England game, the New Orleans game, the Houston game, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh, I think you have to go 5-0 in those games to give yourself the best shot at finishing 10-7. And I think in the AFC this year, with how deep and talented that conference is, they need at least 10 wins to get it.
I think it'll be just for the very nature of this team that we're talking about, Nick, about how good it could be or how bad it could go. One of the more intriguing and entertaining teams to watch over the course of the season when you talk about the Raiders. I really do. Like, we could turn on the Raiders every Sunday and be wowed by what this offense does. but still be talking about a sub 500 team. You know what it's such a weird team when you do, like, usually you know what a team is with the Raiders, and you pointed out the other day the statistics that Bill Barnwell laid out there about the way that they won some of those games last year and how that can be kind of fluky and not so sustainable. There's a lot about this football team that looks good, but then, like I said, there's a but for every one of those things.
And I appreciate Barnwell and what he wrote, because he did bring up a number of great points in that article about the close games they won and all that stuff. But I would say let's also add some context for Raiders fans and for that organization. You can push back and say, well, a lot of things happened last year, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things happened last year that went without knowing they were going to happen. John Gruden, number one, being gone. Right. I mean, that was a huge situation that they had to get through. And, I thought Derek Carr and company did a fantastic job. Your head coach, the guy who was the face of the organization, the emails come out. It looks ugly. He gets let go. The owner comes out and doesn't really necessarily say anything meaningful about what happened. You've got the Ruggs thing going on.
Not just the face of the organization, sort of the mastermind of he was making the roster. He designed the offense. He called the plays.
And you lost your number one receiver with the DUI and the death and the tragedy there with Henry Ruggs. I mean, this team went through a lot, and I give them credit. I said this last year at the end of the season. They deserve all the credit in the world that they were able to put things together. They picked up those pieces, and they got to the playoffs.
I think that says a lot about Derek Carr.
Absolutely.
Who I'm a fan of.
By the way, Tony Dog says, Ramie, your shirt sucks.
Come on, it's Walter Payton, man. A little respect.
John Williams.
Little respect.
John Williams gives us two. He gives us two predictions. I'm thinking the first one is San Francisco at 12-5, if healthy for the most part. I'm thinking the second one is the Raiders saying 9-8, a shot in the dark.
How dare you? I know my football team is bad, but a little respect for my guy.
You didn't like it.
My nephew is named after this man.
Wow, you're really taking shots at Tony Dogs now,
right?
You're trying to get him.
I'm just saying.
You're trying to make him feel real.
I'm just saying.
Bad.
Like, let the man rest in peace.
Real
is all
bad.
I'm saying.
And here's why the Raiders.
Man, you just have to bring it down like that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to try to get back to the Raiders. Their offense. They'll win 10 games if they win those 5 games I brought up. The offense, Carr, the weapons. I mean, we can run through them, but you know them: Adams, Renfro, Waller, blah blah. I mean, and Josh McDaniels is one of the best offensive minds in the game. They will have to really follow the path that their offense lies down in front of them. And I also think their pass rush will be good. I have questions about their second and third levels of the defense, but when you've got Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, if Jones is healthy, that will help
makes
your
their
secondary.
jobs a lot better.
Absolutely.
A lot easier, I should say.
Absolutely. Your thoughts on the Niners, your thoughts on the Raiders. Where do you have them finishing this year?
My shirt.
Get ready?
Or my shirt.
Or
thoughts on my shirt.
Or Ramie's shirt.
Fire those our way.
916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. YouTube page, check it out. YouTube channel, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Click the thumbs up button. Subscribe as well. Football season, we're going to crush it. And of course, when the Kings get going, we're going to crush that as well. The place you want to be here in Sacramento, sports radio. It's Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports. How much did last night actually mean? We'll get to that. But first, the most unexplainable NFL story of the offseason comes to an end. It's coming up next.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports. Sacramento has a new tag team in the afternoons.
You're talking to the original tag team of ugly pukes here.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
It is time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. Just announced, by the way, I'll get into this maybe a little bit later in the show. Ramie, I know you're not a fight guy, but I do want to mention this because Nate Diaz is fighting tomorrow night. And Diaz was supposed to fight, of course, I don't know if you know or not, but the Diaz brothers are from Stockton.
I've heard.
So Diaz is fighting tomorrow night. He was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev, but Chimaev showed up today 7.5 pounds overweight. Dana White said it was because of a cut that he had, and the doctor told him to stop trying to cut weight because the cut was really bad, and he thought something might go wrong. That's according to Dana White.
Weight can affect a cut?
Listen, I'm not a doctor.
Neither am I.
But it was just announced. I actually think this is a better fight for fight fans. Diaz is still in the main event tomorrow night, but instead of fighting Chimaev, he is going to fight Tony Ferguson. That should be a fun war. So
I do like Nate Diaz fights.
So it's tough to not like them. So it's going to be Diaz and Ferguson tomorrow night. I'm a little confused. Before we get to what I think has been the most unexplainable NFL story this offseason, which came to an end earlier today, I'm a little confused by this text, so I'm going to ask you for your help, Ron.
Okay.
This text, I would understand if we absolutely roasted either the Niners or the Raiders. I don't feel like we did.
No, I thought we were pretty complimentary of both.
Not this texter.
Really?
916-339-1140. You two are the biggest asses on the face of the planet.
I mean, so far, I can't take issue with it.
I am done listening to your crap. Go back east. Why do you come out west? All you do is heat on everybody in the west. I'm guessing he meant hate.
Who do we heat on?
I can't wait for you clowns.
Heat on anybody.
I can't wait for you clowns to eat all your words and all your hate about the Raiders.
What?
Wait a minute. We had the Raiders winning double-digit games.
What do we say? We both picked them to win 10 games. What happened?
What does this texter believe they're going to go 13-4?
Are we selling them short?
14-3?
And I even said that that could swing 3 games in either direction. I have them winning as many as 13 games, my dude. How many games do you want us to have them winning for it to be complimentary and you to not turn us off and tell us to go back east?
15-2? Would that do it?
Maybe.
Here's the deal I'm going to make.
17-0, bro. Will you turn your radio back on?
Here's the deal. Here's the deal I'm going to make with this texter. All right, if the Raiders win, I would say 12 or more games.
He's not listening anymore, though. So
yeah, he's done with our crap.
He's done with our crap.
Move back east. Yeah. And Ramie's not from the east. He's from the Midwest. I digress. So
is Chicago Midwest?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's Chicago. Really?
Well, people on the East Coast believe Chicago's Midwest. So I would think it's Midwest.
Chicago is the heart of the Midwest.
Are we going to get lost in this conversation?
Chicago not the Midwest.
I don't know. I just don't think. I think of it like as its own thing.
I gotta Google what is the Midwest now.
I think it's the Midwest.
I'm sorry.
I believe it's okay. I believe we're talking Midwest.
Yeah.
But if they win 12 or more games, because give or take a win, right? I mean, come on. If they win 11, are you going to be? You had them at 10-7, and they finish at 11-6.
Haters,
you jerks.
You jerks.
So if they win like 12 or more games, then you can call us out, right? I mean, it's fair ground. You can call us. You can text us. You can pick on us and go, you guys had no idea what you were talking about. But if they finish with less than 10 wins, you get your comeuppance. Okay? You have to apologize to us when the season is over. That's how this is going to work.
And
tell
all your friends to listen.
Yes. Absolutely. All right, let's jump to the
Chicago is firmly planted in the Midwest.
Firmly.
Yes.
But their Mexican food is too good to be considered Midwest, in my opinion. That's why I feel like it should be on its own.
I haven't had Mexican in Chicago,
There's
so I
too
can't
much
tell you.
Spice in Chicago for it to be considered Midwest.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
I've gone to Chicago twice, and I have failed to get Mexican food.
No, y'all use spices. You can't be Midwest.
All right, so let's get to the let's get to the most unexplainable NFL story of the offseason. Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson has been sort of kind of talking extension with the Ravens during the offseason. Well, today we found out there is going to be no deal No deal between quarterback and team. Eric DeCosta, the GM of the Ravens, released a statement saying, despite best efforts on both sides, we were unable to reach a contract extension. We greatly appreciate how he has handled this process. Blah, 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 blah. We will continue to work towards a deal. Adam Schefter reported that there was an offer on the table, but Jackson said thanks, but no thanks. Let's skip, by the way, Chris, due to the Chicago Midwest talk. Let's jump over Ian Rappaport, and let's hear from Greg Jennings on his thoughts about Lamar Jackson.
I said Lamar's going to bet on himself, and rightfully so, because he's erring on the side of, I'm not going to get hurt. I am going to have an exciting season, and a season that allows me and warrants me more money than you're obviously willing to provide me in this moment, which is why Schefter said he turned down the deal. For me, as a player, I'm going to always say bet on yourself. If you believe with everything you are that you are worth more and you are willing to take that chance, take that chance.
I just can't believe it's gotten this far.
It's ridiculous.
This guy won the MVP a couple years ago.
It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind that they've let it get to this point. And for me, if I'm Lamar Jackson, because this is a game of chicken. That's all that this is a game of chicken. If I'm Lamar Jackson, this game of chicken comes to a head right now. I'm not stepping on a football field and jeopardizing my future and all the money I could potentially make. And I know he loses money for every day that he doesn't go out on the field. But when you're talking about the amount of money that is on the table that he could potentially lose with any sort of serious injury, there's just no way I'm stepping on a football field right now.
But here's the problem. This is why the NFL owners have all the stroke. If he doesn't play a certain amount of games, his contract doesn't toll. So he'll have to go into next year with the same contract. And inevitably, it's a staring contest. I understand what you're saying, but the NFL, look at Deebo Samuel. Like, this happens all the time. Eventually, the Ravens will win this because they'll look at Jackson and they'll say, hey, man, if you don't want to play, if you don't want to show up, we'll just keep kicking your contract can down the road.
See, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I keep talking about all this week about the Super Bowl window that the 49ers are in, and you don't risk years in Super Bowl windows. What I'm gambling on with the Ravens is, hey, with me as your quarterback, we can win a Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Are you really willing to throw away one of those seasons in our Super Bowl window to not give me what I think I'm worth and I deserve? That's what you're gambling on if you're Lamar Jackson. And yeah, I mean, they might win that staring contest, but I'm definitely forcing their hand right now because the Ravens look at this and they go, all the big quarterback contracts that were on the table, they're signed, sealed, and delivered.
Right.
We know what the quarterback market is. It's not going to change at all between now and next year. The price for Lamar Jackson, even if we blink, won't go up between now and next year. And we have the franchise tag in our pocket. We got nothing to lose. If you're Lamar Jackson, you have a lot to lose. There's no way I'm risking my future if I'm Lamar Jackson.
I just don't understand this from the Ravens side. I always think that this is terrible business when you have a really good young quarterback and you force it to go this far. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, S-E-N-S-E, and sense, C-E-N-T-S, when I look at this, because the longer you wait, more guys sign deals at this position. The price is only going to go up. So you're just going to end up paying more in the end. Ask the Cowboys. They did this with Dak Prescott. They played this game. They pushed Prescott to the franchise tag. Prescott ended up getting a lot more money because the Cowboys were trying to be stubborn about it. So, Jackson plays, he gets to the franchise tag. Okay, now franchise tag me back-to-back years and then pay me a contract extension by, at that point, might be $300 million guaranteed. You don't know. Two things. He doesn't have an agent, which I think is a problem. When you don't have an agent, you're going back and forth, and it makes the negotiation very difficult. Secondly, the Deshaun Watson deal. The Cleveland Browns caused major issues across the league. This is the ripple effect. This is the domino effect to the Watson contract because the Browns gave that guy $250 million guaranteed. And when you think about the circumstances surrounding him, Jackson's walking in to the room and saying, listen, you got to give me at least $250 million guaranteed. No, wait a minute. You got to give me $251 because I want to beat Watson. You got to give me more guaranteed money than Watson got. Watson's never been an MVP. I've been an MVP. So pay me that guaranteed money or we don't have a deal.
How shrewd a move it would it be if the Browns giving Deshaun Watson that contract got Lamar Jackson out of the division. I know that's not necessarily the dominoes.
So they're playing chess while we're playing checkers. Is that what
necessarily fall? But
3D chess. Is that what we're going?
That is some 3D chess right there. If you drive Lamar Jackson out of the division by giving Deshaun Watson that huge guaranteed contract, because that's what this is right now, man. Lamar is looking at this and going, look, you can't tell me you can't give out all this guaranteed money. You can. I've seen it done. It's right here, right down the road in Cleveland. I know it can be done, and if it's done for him, damn it, I want it done for me.
And he knows they're not going to start all over at quarterback.
No.
He's been the MVP of the league.
I'm saying, bet on yourself and make them blink. I mean, make them blink right now, man. I'm terrified for Lamar Jackson because I like the dude. Forget the football player. I like the dude. I'm terrified he's going to go out there and I'm going to watch his leg bend the wrong way and generational wealth is going down the tubes. You know what I mean? That you can't risk that if you're him. Can't.
How much did last night actually mean? We'll get to that and our NFL picks of the week coming up.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie. Sactown Sports. Cattles and Ramie. Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
We're talking about the texter who went after us, calling us all these names, telling us to move back to where we came from just because we talked about his football team.
Say that. Go back where you
came
came from. You really shouldn't say that.
Over a football team.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Football.
Right.
Go back east, you chick. Enjoy the Midwest, Ramie. You said the Raiders going to win 10 games. You idiots. We did have a texter, and this is something that Ramie and myself will learn. I mean, I was here at the end of the last football season, right? But I don't know how the Raiders contingent. I mean, when I was in Virginia Beach, we used to have an NFL draft party every year, and Raiders fans used to come and like dominate the thing. So I know they're very, very passionate. But texter texts and says, "Don't trip, guys. Raider fans think they will win the Super Bowl every year." Is this true, Chris Ralad?
Yeah, Raiders fans and Cowboys fans.
I was going to say, I know that about the Cowboys. I was actually going to ask you that. So similar to the Cowboys.
Very similar.
Make that Laker fans too.
Yeah, that's true for sure. And somehow Knicks fans, they keep they keep convincing themselves like this is the year.
The fan base that celebrates a regular season win like they won a championship in an 82-game season. We did it.
That was probably one of my favorite moments of the NBA season.
Like what'd you do? What'd you do? Speaking of New York, the Buffalo Bills.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. The Buffalo Bills committed a football homicide last night. My goodness. They outlined the Rams in chalk.
Dude.
And they had 4 turnovers. The Bills turned the football over 4 times, and they still straight up murdered the Rams on national television.
I'm the last guy to overreact to an NFL game in week 1.
Yeah.
The Rams are fine. The Bills haven't won the Super Bowl. It's
Sure.
week 1. Everybody calm down. But good Lord, that Rams offensive line, man. Like we were talking yesterday about Matthew Stafford's elbow. If his elbow is all right, something else is going to get hurt if that's how his offensive line is going to be blocking all year. Like I know Von Miller is good, but man, they made Von Miller in the latter stages of his career look like Lawrence Taylor last night. That Rams offensive line looks bad, and if you can't get that offensive line right, that brings that whole high-powered offense that they've been running there under Sean McVay to a screeching halt. That was an ugly performance for those guys last night.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It was brutal. It was absolutely.
Everybody calm down about Josh Allen.
It was absolutely
right?
brutal.
It's not crowning
You can
just
pump
yet.
that back a little bit.
Exactly.
I'm afraid for Buffalo if they win a championship. What that city's going to be.
I'm afraid for
Be a crater.
They jump through burning tables just for a regular tailgate when they're winning 3 games a year. I'm very afraid of what's going to happen in Buffalo. If
I'm
they win
afraid
the
for
whole
my
thing.
mentions for all the Josh Allen haters thrown out there.
Here was Josh Allen last night after the game.
You know, we hurt ourselves a lot in that first half. There's a lot to learn from, but that second half, that's who we want to be, going out there and executing the way, we expect ourselves to execute. I thought Coach Dorsey, called a heck of a game. It's his first live, action. So I'm proud of him for handling the situations how he did. But again, we were 90% on third down. Like that's a recipe for success. And again, 4 turnovers, that's way too many. So we've got a lot to clean up, but like Vaughn said, we'll celebrate this one. It's hard to win in this league, especially against good teams, and that's a really good team we just played.
90% on third down. He was terrific. Von Miller was excellent. Stafford was trash. Allen Robinson, for some reason, got 2 targets. 2. Allen Robinson, you threw the football to him twice. I know Cooper Kupp is one of the best receivers in the league, and some would argue he's the best receiver in the league. But, Matthew, you've got more guys that can catch the football than Cooper Kupp on your team.
I don't know what routes Allen Robinson was running, but if they took more than 2.5 seconds, Matthew Stafford probably didn't have time to get to him.
Talk about a flat performance from the defending Super Bowl champions. All right, let's get to the NFL picks this week, week 1. We will have a fancy open at some point for this for the NFL picks.
That music is enough for me, man.
Oh, it's
you
beautiful,
talk about
isn't it?
tingly.
It's beautiful. We're going to run through these quickly, boys. We've got 4 games to pick on the docket this week. We'll start with the do we start with San Francisco or end with San Francisco?
I think we end with San
All
Francisco.
right, let's end with San Francisco. Yeah. Let's start with Monday Night Football. We'll go backwards here. Denver -6.5 at Seattle. Ramie, who do you have?
6.5 is a big number.
It is.
I'm gonna take that number. I think Denver does it. I think they cover the 6.5.
By the way, we should keep track of this, guys. Gotta keep track of this as we move forward this year.
I got it.
To see who's good and who's absolutely terrible. So
I do like a lot of in-show competition.
You said you got Denver, right?
I'm taking Denver minus the 6.5.
JJ, who you got?
Give me the Broncos 6.5.
Taking the Broncos as well. Chris,
it's gonna be a sweet Broncos.
Yeah, I got Broncos. We all got Broncos minus 6.5. I think Wilson's going to be fired up. That could backfire. Russell Wilson could be a little too emotional, try to do too much. But I've got Denver minus 6.5 because Geno Smith
trying to do too much.
Tampa Bay at Dallas. This is Sunday Night Football. Tampa minus 2.5. Ramie.
This is probably the one I had the most difficulty with on the whole slate because Dallas being the home team, but the underdog, but Tom Brady coming out. A lot of people have been talking trash about him, going and delving into his personal life and chalking that up to why he had the absence. He's going to want to shut people up. He's going to come out. He's going to get the win. And that's a field goal, man. I think they win by a field goal. Give me Tampa Bay minus the 2.5.
Tampa minus 2.5. JJ.
Yeah, last year Tampa was smoking Dallas, and Dallas made a late comeback to, I believe they fell short by 1 or 2 points, which is what we're seeing here. I'm going with Dallas. I'm going to take the home team as much as it hurts me. I'm going to take Dallas. I'll never pick Dallas Cowboys again.
JJ taking the points.
I believe Tom Brady has never lost to Dallas.
Never?
I think I'm going to go with that. I think I'm going to take the Bucs.
Okay. Just roll with it. I'm going to go with Tampa minus 2.5.
Ooh.
Interesting battle here. You got Wirfs and Smith on the offensive line of Tampa going against Parsons and Lawrence on that defensive line, that pass rush for Dallas. That could be the matchup. Tampa's got some issues up front. The big guys up front, a couple of big-time injuries there. So they got to protect Brady, make sure Parsons and Lawrence doesn't get in. But Dallas's offensive line is not the same, and I'll take Brady over Dak. So I'll go with Tampa. Vegas, the Raiders at the Chargers. Watch out, the texter is listening, Ramie. The Chargers are minus 3.
Again, had trouble with this one. This is in Los Angeles. I think they cover the 3. I think the Raiders, I know, I'm sorry to that texter. I think the Raiders lose the opener.
Oh, boy.
And the Chargers cover the 3.
He might meet you outside.
I know.
Today.
I know.
Careful. I'm following that cab. I'm taking the Chargers. The 3 makes me, if I got it at 2.5, I'd be all in. The Chargers. Giving up 3 makes me a little nervous, but I'm going to go ahead and take the better quarterback. Give me the Chargers.
The game is in LA, but you got to remember, Ramie, that's a home game.
That is
for the
true.
Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Raiders.
Interesting. I'm going Chargers minus 3. Give me Justin Herbert over Derek Carr. We'll get into that matchup a little bit more in about 20 minutes or so. So to that Raiders fan, if you're very angry, just wait until the game breakdown. They'll get even happier. Final one, San Francisco minus 7. Minus 7
That's
on the
big number. On the road.
On the road in Chicago, Ramie.
On the road.
On the road.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
At historic Soldier Field.
At historic Soldier.
It's a setup.
By the way, one of our YouTube viewers said I earned their nod with the Sweetness shirt. So thank you. They also said you rock, Nick. That's MC Cal.
Thank you.
CM. No, they ain't covering 7. My team is bad. They're not that bad.
Write it down,
They're not
guys.
covering 7.
Write it down.
On the record, I smell it.
Give me the Bears plus the 7.
Write that down.
Give me the Bears plus the 7, damn it.
All right, JJ.
Yeah, this is another game.
7.
The half makes it. If you're giving me 6.5, I'm riding with the 49ers, but I'm gonna talk myself into it. As you're riding with your Bears, Ramie, I'm riding with my boys in red and gold. I'm taking the Niners. I'm trusting in Trey.
By the way,
trust in Trey.
Minus 7.
We need a show bet between you two guys by the end of the show.
Up, okay, we can conjure something up.
I've done some very embarrassing things.
All right, let's work on that. Let's work on it, and we'll come up with a show bet.
Trust in Trey, Nick.
Verlad.
I'm with Ramie. I think the Niners are going to win. I just don't think that they're going to win by 7.
Give me San Francisco.
That boy, Nick. I see through it.
I have a lot of thoughts on this game. We'll get to them, but yeah, give me the Niners minus 7. Okay, why did I pick the Niners minus 7, and why did Ramie pick the Bears? We'll get to our thoughts on this game coming up on Sunday next.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell and Cordell. We've helped men navigate
Just two guys rubbing elbows, talking sports, and lots of other stuff.
Hey, keep you on edge. That's really crazy interesting.
Sactown Sports 1140.
David Neal, before it starts snowing in November, you guys should take a trip up to Reno or Tahoe on Sunday morning. Leave about 7, get there at about 9.
Is he giving us like recommendations for us to do on our personal time, or is he saying we should take the show up there?
There's something.
Paid trip to Reno or Tahoe sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I was just there a couple weeks ago. It's fantastic.
Yes, you were.
Careful with the line bikes.
Yeah, hopefully my wife doesn't fly off of a line bike again.
I should laugh.
That was less than ideal. She's okay. She got checked by a doctor.
Then we should laugh.
Yeah, so it's fine. It's okay. It's all good.
I'm a fabulous driver.
She was until the sandal went flying off. Then it went bad.
I still don't understand how the sandal just
None of
went
us do.
flying
She doesn't
off,
even
dude.
know. She doesn't even know.
What was the force that drove the sandal to go
Listen,
flying?
all I know is sandal went right, she went left. And the line bike went forward. That's all I know.
None of that is good. None of that is good.
But she's okay. She lived to tell the tale.
Good.
She's
I'm
gonna
glad.
make it. All right, let's get back to football. Bears, Niners this weekend. This is the Ramie Makhloufs versus the Jay Johnsons. We're all excited for this game in Chicago. All eyes, of course, on Trey Lance. Game 1 as QB1. I know he started 2 games last year, but he was not QB1. Here was Lance talking about his expectations for this weekend.
I'm excited. I mean, real similar to, I guess, the weeks that I did start last year from a preparation standpoint. But it's great to have those guys in the room. Great to have Jimmy in the room to help, bounce ideas off of. But, yeah, it's been awesome.
George Kittle is officially questionable. He did not practice today. He's questionable. Here was Kyle Shanahan talking about his tight end.
I don't know yet. I'm really hoping that it'll be all right. I'm trying to think positively on it. He didn't end up getting to go yesterday, and he's not in here today yet. I'm sure he's probably coming in right now. Treatment starts at 7, but they'll hit him hard. They'll do it all morning, and hopefully he'll be able to get out there and do some red zone work today.
Now, Kittle, for what it's worth, said he's feeling better today. So I guess there's the outside shot that he plays on Sunday. The first question I have is, how will Shanahan utilize Lance? Like, what will they go into this game thinking as far as Lance and what they're going to allow him to do in his first start officially as QB1? And I find this all fascinating because you've got Lance, again, first time with the keys truly in his hands, going against Matt Eberflus, who did a fantastic job in Indianapolis as defensive coordinator. He is now in Chicago. Surprised me, by the way, that they picked him as the head coach. I thought they would go offensive with Justin Fields. But here was Eberflus this week talking about what he expects from Trey Lance.
Yeah, it's you're projecting a little bit. You have to project of how they're going to use the young man and where they're going to use him in their offense. We certainly have an idea of what this offense looks like, but how they're going to use him, no one really knows. So you got to really use your rules and have your calls and make sure you're sound in what you're doing.
Ramie, do you expect them to play it a little safe with Lance?
I honestly, and this is probably the most dangerous thing about, if there's anything dangerous about this Bears team on Sunday, we're trying to figure out, you're framing it as the Bears don't know what to expect from Trey Lance, and nobody does. But the thing about the Bears is who knows what to expect from the Bears, because not only is this a new coaching staff and an overhauled roster, and not a good roster, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there from the jump. It's not a good roster that the Bears have. But you pointed out Eberflus and what he was able to do in Indianapolis. The guy draws up good defenses. He schemes good defense. And on both sides of the ball, you really don't know who or what this Bears team is or what they're going to try and do. You know what I mean? Because they didn't show you a lot in the preseason, and not a lot of teams will show you a lot in the preseason.
Right.
You don't know what this Bears defense is going to throw at Trey Lance. I think this whole thing early on is going to very much be a feeling out process of the Bears going, all right, what are we dealing with this first-time starter and Trey Lance, and the 49ers offense going, all right, what are we dealing with the new defense for the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, I expect Shanahan to play it a little safe because I do think Eberflus is going to throw a bunch at the rookie with all intents and purposes. I know he's not really a rookie, but you get it. And I would expect Shanahan to run a lot of boot action. I would expect some misdirection in the backfield. Of course, Shanahan is going to lean heavily on the run like he always does. Occasional shot downfield at Lance, but I think that's what you'll see. I think you'll see mostly a conservative game plan. I wouldn't be surprised if early on in this game, Shanahan tries to take a shot, right? Like first series, everybody thinks this is going to be safe, and they do some kind of misdirection, take a shot down the field kind of play. Would not be surprised by that. But I think mostly when we look at how they handle Lance on Sunday, it's going to be the safe route. It's going to let's run the football, let's run some boot action, let's get Lance moving with his legs, and let's not try to ask for too much from him. Because I think when you look at the other side, Ramie, of this game, when you look at the Niners defense against the Chicago offense, here's what my concern would be if I were you on Sunday. That offensive line, that pass protection against this Niners defensive line, specifically Braxton Jones versus Nick Bosa.
It's bad. The Bears offensive line it's a bad situation. And that's, as I sit here in my Sweetness t-shirt in front of you, Nick, that's that Nick Bosa matchup on that side of the line. And they'll move them all over the line to take advantage of all the weaknesses that the Bears have on the offensive line. That's the scariest thing about this game to me on Sunday as a Bear. I kind of just hope Justin Fields survives. You know what I mean?
It's a major question.
Now I will say this. You talked about Trey Lance taking some deep shots. I think the Bears will also attempt to take some deep shots, partly out of necessity because they'll have to if they're going to try and keep up with the 49ers. But found this stat today at ESPN.com. The Lions, Texans, and Bears are the only defenses last year that allowed more yards per deep pass attempt than the 49ers last season.
Huh.
I think you're going to see Justin Fields try and take some shots and score some points quick to try and stay in the game with the 49ers and might have some success doing it. Now, also the Niners play a ton of zone coverage, and Justin Fields, 7 of his 10 interceptions last year came against zone coverage. So you should be able to, especially if you're getting that pressure up front and running that zone coverage, you should be able to force some mistakes from Justin Fields. The way you're talking about Eberflus and the Bears defense trying to force some mistakes out of Trey Lance.
Yeah, I think each side kind of has the concern, right? Look, the offensive tackle situation for San Francisco is fine. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Trent Williams is a beast. You should be good. But still, the interior of the offensive line, if that starts to show cracks like we've seen at times during this preseason, during training camp, that could be an issue. You get Lance running outside of the pocket trying to make a play. That's when you make mistakes. Same thing for Chicago. If Fields is running for his life on Sunday, that's when you make the mistakes. When you talk about deep shots, part of this game, of course, Ramie, is Jimmy Ward. He's going to be out for San Francisco. So they're looking at safety here. My guess would be maybe George Odom is the guy. Maybe.
They still haven't told us, have they?
I don't think they will. When you look at this game plan, I find it fascinating. Like you just mentioned, the Niners gave up some big plays last year in the passing game. Now they're thin at safety. So I agree with you. I think Chicago, especially with Mooney, who can burn, I think they take some shots against that defense.
These are both defenses that give up the deep ball. Or were defenses. We can't say this year. Things change over the course of an offseason. But last year, these were both defenses that were vulnerable to the deep ball. I think, and I'm not saying we're going to see a shootout, but I think it'll be a fun game to watch in that you're going to see two quarterbacks that are going to take their shots downfield. Whether or not they execute them remains to be seen. But yeah. I think going in, both of these offenses plan to take some deep shots.
And you need time. If you're going to take deep shots, you need time. And if your offensive line is falling apart in front of you, you're not going to have time, and you got to scrap that plan and move forward with something else. So it'll be interesting to see if the original plan works. If it doesn't, how do you adjust? The other big part of this, I brought up Eberflus. This is his first time as a head coach. That's a big deal, right? His first time as the guy going against Kyle Shanahan. And many people believe that Shanahan is one of the better coaches in the NFL. So that is another aspect of this game and a reason why I like San Francisco, as I said last segment, to win this game, and I think they win by more than 7. I like the coaching matchup here. I think Shanahan will take advantage of this, and I think Eberflus, he might have some issues adjusting on the fly first time out.
You mentioned we just made our picks, and you mentioned the spread of 7.
Yes.
I forgot I had this in my notes. I'm just looking through my notes as we're talking about this game. The Bears were 0-5 against the spread as home underdogs last year, and 3-10 against the spread as underdogs overall. Can I?
You want to change?
Can I change my pick? I don't know.
Nope.
I'm not feeling so great about it after reading that.
Here's something else.
Man, 7 is a big number.
Chicago, their last 8 openers. You know what the record is?
0-8, I'm going to guess.
No, they're 1-7.
1-7. All right.
1-7.
I knew it was bad.
In their last 8 openers.
I knew it was bad.
So, when you look at this, Kittle, how do you adjust if Kittle's not out there? Does that change the game plan? How much does it change the game plan? Of course, it's going to have an impact if he's not playing.
I think they win this game with or without Kittle.
I agree.
Right?
But it's interesting to see, how Lance will adapt to that. Now, I will say the good thing, the silver lining of not having Kittle if they don't have him on Sunday, is the fact that they have not had him at practice this week. So they have already, I would imagine, they've already begun trying to shape their offense with the idea of, hey, Kittle might not be here on Sunday.
And from what we heard, Kittle and Lance weren't, and not to say that it won't be a productive connection somewhere down the line, but from what we heard, Kittle and Lance weren't necessarily clicking throughout training camp. The guys he was more going to was Ayuk and Deebo Samuel in practices and the little bit of preseason that we saw him in. I hate to put it this way, but if you were going to be without somebody on Sunday in terms of weapons available to Trey Lance, George Kittle might be the guy. You know what I mean? If you said you're gonna not have one of these 3 guys on Sunday, George Kittle, for everything that he's done, just looking at the little bit that we've seen from Trey Lance, that might be the guy who you go, all right, I guess we go without him on Sunday.
916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone line is 1-800-920-1140. You can check us out. Again, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Click that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us all year long. We are fully into football season, getting you ready for week 1. We want your thoughts on the Niners. We want your thoughts on the Raiders. If you have other NFL thoughts, feel free. Feel free to put them on the table. We could talk about them because both Ramie and I absolutely love the NFL. So whatever you got, 916-339-1140. Continue the conversation with all of you. Also in 90 seconds, Stephen A. said what? And will Josh McDaniels' Raiders career start with a W?
Trying to get you home after another long day and through the drive time afternoon traffic. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140.
Quick question for you, Chris Rillard. Wedding bands, are they good or bad?
Sorry?
Bands that play at weddings, good or bad?
Bad.
Yeah.
I
Nobody's
thought you
ever
were saying
really
like
had
wedding band, like a ring.
Yeah, that's why I had to rephrase it because I figured when you said, what, excuse me? Just talking about it during the break about I was asking Ramie if he ever got married, if he'd go band or DJ. He said DJ.
Gotta go DJ.
You started talking about wedding bands, and Ramie said, yeah.
I mean,
you
I
got a
don't
band,
care.
they're probably not good.
Whatever she wants, but if I have a vote, it's DJ.
Imagine if the Raiders fan that hated you in the first hour happens to play in a band.
He's the lead singer.
And they do weddings.
For a Journey cover band that does weddings on
He
the
would
side.
really hate you in this moment. Really, really hate you in this moment. I can't believe this guy. Time to see the return of Pro Rodeo to Marysville next Saturday and Sunday, September 17th and 18th. For ticket info, go to MarysvilleStampede.com. All right, let's get to Stephen A. Smith. Look, this guy is, we all know, overworked. But he is paid very, very well.
Yeah.
And at times, Stephen A. has slipped up a little bit on the air, right, from time to time.
We all do.
He has he's messed up a few times, and it's become fodder for everybody. Today it happened again. And I feel like if we ignored what happened today with Stephen A. Smith, we would be disingenuous to all of you. We would not provide you with the entertainment that you deserve on this Friday if we did not play this for you.
This was terrific.
So earlier today, Stephen A. is on First Take, which is one of the 75 shows he does on ESPN. And, boy, did he confuse the entire world? Or did he confuse himself?
I think he confused himself.
Listen to this closely.
We've got the best division in football here. Chiefs at Cardinals, Raiders at Chargers, and Broncos at Seahawks. Stephen A., which team in the division will score the most points in week 1?
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Okay, tell me why.
Justin Herbert, Williams, Keenan Allen.
So Chargers are going to score the most points.
Most points in the
We
division.
got time
Ain't
for
nobody
one
stopping
more.
that offense.
Most points in the division.
We'll dive in deeper here. Raiders, Chargers. Who are you backing to win this one, Stephen A.?
I don't know.
What?
I'm going to go with the Raiders. I'll just go with
What a
the
day,
Raiders.
everybody. What a time to be
Shootout.
alive. Goodbye.
What a time to be alive.
What?
All right, so Stephen A. picked the
What?
Chargers to score the most points in the division this weekend, but yet he picked the Raiders to somehow beat the Chargers this weekend.
How? How?
Here's how you get away from it, because I think Vlad said he's probably spending all day thinking how he can get out of this, right? Here's how you get out of it.
No, there's no getting out of this.
No, you can't. There's a way. There's a way you can weasel your way out of this if you're Stephen A. I was talking about offensive points scored.
You're
welcome, Stephen A.
Wow.
I should get paid for that advice.
I didn't even think of that.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
I didn't even think about that.
He could say that's why I brought up Justin Herbert. I was talking about offense.
Huh.
But we know.
No,
he
that's
wasn't.
not what he meant.
No, not at all.
He just the look on his face in between the two questions. Like, you're right, man. He's just the dude is overworked.
Especially basketball season. He's doing like
Oh my
pre-games and
God.
post-games and flying across the country.
That was, dude, I laughed as hard at that today as I've laughed.
Simone on YouTube. The
all day.
audacity.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm going to pick the
That was
Chargers to
terrific.
score the most points. Okay, who wins, Chargers or Raiders? Raiders. Wait a minute. You just picked the Chargers to score
And
the most.
I could see, like, if you said the Chargers are going to be the highest scoring team in the division, but then forgot.
That's a good prediction.
But then forgot they were playing the Raiders. You know what I mean? So I don't remember the whole NFL slate on a particular weekend. But she says Raiders, Chargers. Right after he made that prediction, she says Raiders, Chargers. Who are you predicting will win this game?
There's like not even a beat in between.
No.
They're like, it's the end of the show, but that's the thing. It's like a minute left to go in the show. Do you think the producers are like, oh,
They're in
let's
his
have some
ear.
fun?
They're like, you got to make your prediction in 10 seconds.
No,
You have
I'm
10
saying to
seconds.
Molly, like, here's what you're gonna do. We're gonna get him here.
Oh, you think this is like?
You think the producers of First Take are working against
You
Stephen
think
A?
I think it's like, oh, it's the end of the show. No one's really paying attention. Wouldn't it be funny if?
Verlad's like, did one of the producers order the hit? Do you think that's what happened? They ordered the code red on Stephen A.
That was awesome.
Ask him about Chargers Raiders.
That was amazing. Or what if he's just brilliant and he's hedging his bets? Because now he can be right about that game no matter what happens.
If you clip it.
If the Chargers score the most points in the division, he was right.
Genius.
If the Raiders win, he was right.
There's a better chance that he's wrong about both of them.
Yeah, if he's wrong on both, then he's in really bad shape. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports. Let's talk about this game coming up on Sunday. Vegas at the Chargers. Here is a defensive coordinator for the Raiders talking about, his name is Patrick Graham. He's talking about Justin Herbert.
He's such an impressive quarterback back there in the pocket. And then on top of that, having the athletic ability and also have the athletic ability and be able to have the vision down the field. So, that's probably the first thing you talk about, because there's explosive plays that are planned, then explosive plays that are off schedule. And I mean, you just got to keep emphasizing it. But he has plenty of, stuff that's not off schedule that he's making plays. But, we're always focused on the big plays. You start there, how they getting the ball down the field. So really the emphasis remains the same.
Who wins?
This is like we were talking about the Raiders before. This is all their games are going to be tough to pick. The thing that scares me about this game, Nick, is that the weaknesses that we've pointed out about the Raiders are exactly where the Chargers have strengths and can exploit those weaknesses. First of all, Justin Herbert, as good a deep ball thrower as there is in the league right now, in my opinion. And so if you can't get to the quarterback and hurry him up a little bit, I'm a little bit fearful of what's going to happen to the Raiders secondary in this game. And on the flip side, man, we've talked all preseason about this Raiders offensive line. And now you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa that you got to try and keep off of. I'm worried about Derek Carr's health and well-being in this football game. I just want Derek Carr to get out of this game healthy. A win would be a bonus. I want Derek Carr to get out of this game healthy on Sunday.
Mack and Bosa, two animals on the edge.
Dude.
And they're going to attack those Vegas offensive tackles. And McDaniels knows it. Here was Josh McDaniels this week talking about Mack and Bosa.
It's not easy. They're two incredible football players. And again, I could say that about a lot of guys on their team. They have a tremendous amount of talent. This is probably one of the most talented teams we're going to play all year, if not the most talented. This is a big challenge. They present a lot of issues offensively on their own. And so seeing them on the same field obviously will be difficult.
Aside from Mack and Bosa against that Vegas offensive line, I'm concerned about the Vegas linebackers against Austin Eckler. Eckler is really good, running the football and receiving. I think Eckler is going to be a headache. You mentioned it, Ramie. That secondary of the Raiders is, you got some questions. If Rock Ya-Sin plays like a true legit number one cornerback, that'll help. But you do have some questions, and you're going against a team with Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, Gerald Everett. So there are some opportunities, I think, for this Chargers offense to score. But the good news is if the Chargers are going to score, you do have the offense in Vegas to try to keep up. Chargers defense is tough. J.C. Jackson is doubtful. That will hurt them on the outside if Jackson can't go. I would guess that you'd probably put Asante Samuel Jr. against Devontae Adams in that case. I have the Chargers. I just think they're the better football team. I don't think the Raiders are bad. Again, I think they win 10 games. I think they get into the playoffs. I just think the Chargers are one of the most talented teams in football and one of the most talented teams in the AFC. And I would not be surprised if the Chargers win the AFC West. We'll have our predictions later on in the show with the divisions and the playoffs and all of that stuff. But the Chargers, I think, are just a better football team right now. So it should be a fun game. Honestly believe that. 916-339-1140 is the text line. Phone number, 1-800-920-1140. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Ramie is tweeting and at Nick C Radio. I believe Justin Fields lied about the Niners this week. About what?
Liar. How dare you talk about my QB1 like that?
Why you always lying?
Yeah, why you always lying, Justin Fields? We'll find out next.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports. Some guys trying not to throw furniture. That's a personal foul. While the others still trying to find some. Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports, 1140.
We'll get to Justin Fields lying. Your lying starting quarterback, Ramie.
I don't think he lied.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I don't think he's a liar.
First, I want to get to the bottom of this. Do we have a bet yet between you and JJ?
I don't know. We haven't worked one.
We
out
have
yet.
not.
We have not.
What are we waiting for, fellas?
I don't know.
Ramie's Bears versus JJ's Niners.
What should we do? Should we do the old jersey swap? He's got to wear something Bears on Monday if the Bears win. I got to
ain't
wear
wearing
something now.
no damn bear stuff.
Okay.
What do you think?
You ruled that one out.
Yeah, we ain't wearing no bear stuff.
I was gonna go with tattoos, but if you're not,
I'm not getting a tattoo. That ain't happening. No.
My go-to is always the hot chip challenge.
Hot chip challenge.
Hot chip challenge. I'll do a hot chip.
I was
thinking
thinking
that scared man don't win.
Yeah.
I was thinking team logo size of a dime.
What?
Anywhere,
like an
anywhere,
actual tattoo?
anywhere on your body.
I would never make a tattoo, but certainly not on week 1 of the NFL. All right,
with a bad team.
You might,
hey, if you go tattoo week 1, who knows what'll happen if it's a big game later on in the season.
You might catch me in a moment of weakness, like before a Super Bowl or an NFC Championship, where I'm like, all right, let's go tattoo bet. Not in week 1, man. No, that's going way too far.
Okay, so we're doing a hot chip challenge?
Hot chip challenge?
Yeah.
What's the hottest chip out there?
That's
Do
it.
we know?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know what it is? What
Yeah,
is
I already got one.
Oh, you got one.
Yeah.
All right. What is it? You know?
It's like the hottest chip ever.
Dude,
that's what it's called?
Dude,
or?
Yeah.
Verlade knows spice too, man. I wouldn't mess with Verlade.
I mean, I like spice too.
Verlade, is this going to kill one of them? We can't lose them during the show.
So we do it at the end of the show.
Yeah, we do it in the last segment on Monday.
Last segment on Monday. Monday.
Yeah.
This is happening Monday.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Why would we wait?
All right, so we've got what? We've got Monday Night Football on Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we end at about 4:25. So like 4:15.
Right around 4:15, 4:20. JJ is going to be eating a hot chip.
4:20 eating chips?
I'll be eating those regular Fritos.
Am I getting the points, or are we just doing straight up? Bet?
Straight up
All
now.
right.
This is money line now, brother.
I don't really care
around here.
I don't really care. I'm going to end up eating a chip. I don't care. It'll be a snack.
All right,
I'll have
so
a snack before
it's
I go
official. Hot chip challenge. Obviously,
Chris is trying to kill me, Nick. Now that I think about it.
Why? You got a thing with spicy food?
No, I love spicy food, but have you seen this chip? This chip is about as red as a stop sign. Seriously. And this is the thing. It comes in like a little Taco Bell type fold down piece of
is this
cardboard?
the one that they had
Yeah.
Shaq eating
this
last
stuff is
year
crazy.
on TNT? Okay, and they literally come.
Oh, I remember seeing Shaq do it.
They come literally they're individually packed,
Yes.
right? Like each chip is individually packed, and you have to handle
Wait,
it. with
it's
care.
one chip per bag?
It's just one chip.
It's one chip because you can't eat more than one.
Do we have to order these? Because we got to get
That's
ahead
a
of
good
this.
question. I don't know.
I already have one in stock. Because someone lost a bet to me where they have to eat it, but we haven't found out a good time for him to do that.
Okay, so you're gonna put that on hold,
Yes,
and give this one to the show on Monday. Okay, good.
We all make sacrifices. All right, so there it is. Hot chip challenge.
Goodwill donation. Chris is donating a chip.
I have one in stock.
I will say that this is this takes a lot of courage from Ramie. Because I mean, look, we all know San Francisco is the better team.
Yeah.
And we're going money line.
Yeah.
Now I would ask for a little bit of sugar. You don't have to go full 7, but I'd ask for a little bit of juice on this.
Nah, whatever.
No?
Nah, who cares?
All right.
Give me the chip.
Might as well do it right now.
Let's
You get the chip on you.
I'm bringing milk with where to me with
Bad way. That'd be a bad
Monday.
way to end the Friday show. The one chip challenge, the Carolina Reaper, Scorpion Pepper.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Oh my goodness.
Carolina Reaper.
Made with 2 of the spiciest chile peppers on the planet.
Look at the packaging. Chris has put it in our Slack channel.
I wouldn't leave the house for 3 days if I eat that.
It's cut in a shape of a coffin.
Can this do medical harm? Like, am I?
You
So
can't
I
back
needed
down
something
now.
spicier than the hot chip, and I was fine. So.
Okay, I'll be fine. I've been eating Arabic food.
What
my
was
whole
that?
life, man.
What did you eat?
Yeah, you do have the Arabic food for
I do,
you.
yeah.
So you're used to spice
I
as
got
well.
an iron stomach. Yeah.
I feel like we need like a spice challenge between Verlad and Ramie one day. But for now, we'll do the Monday hot chip challenge.
Yeah, what'd
So-
you eat, Verlad? That was hotter than this.
My friend and I got the hot ones sauces.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Arabic background, Mexican background,
I got
the
this.
battle, the stare down. We'll have a weigh in the whole nine. We'll get a belt. We gotta get a belt made. The spice challenge. We'll do it. Let's get to Trey Lance and Justin Fields in this game. Obviously, we're talking about the hot chip challenge. Two young quarterbacks. We know the backstory. 2021 draft. Fields drafted 11th. The Bears moved up to draft him in that spot. Lance taken 3rd by the Niners. Of course, they moved up to draft him in that spot. And Fields was asked about playing against Lance this week, and here's what he had to say.
Draft is a draft. The draft doesn't matter at this point. I mean, like Mooney, you can take Mooney, for example. He got passed by a 32 team. So it's like, you're in the league now, do your job now, boom, execute at a high level, and it is what it is. But, at this point, it's week 1. And we're here to play ball. We're not worried about last year's draft. Oh, this team passed me. I'm not thinking about that. That's not going through my head. So, yeah.
Look, they're going to be forever tied because of what happened, right? The history. But you don't go one-on-one. This is not quarterback versus quarterback. This is not like if, Chet Holmgren was healthy and was going to play against Keegan Murray this year. You don't have that one-on-one matchup. But they will forever be tied. But I want to get to this comment. This is when Justin Fields lied to all of us. This is when he became a liar.
I heard no lies.
Liar!
I heard no lies.
Oh, there's Cap. Let's here's Fields when he said this about San Francisco.
I don't take anything personal.
Lie.
And I'm glad to be here. So, I'm
Lie.
glad that they passed on me. But
Lie.
Yeah, so I'm just ready to play this weekend. So
True. I'm sure he's ready to play this weekend. But to say he doesn't care that they passed on him, lie. Doesn't mind that they passed on him. Happy that they passed on him, lie.
I'm sure, yeah.
Happy to be in Chicago, probably a lie.
Most athletes are usually looking for a chip on the shoulder.
Would you say your starting quarterback was a liar?
No.
No, you're lying.
I wouldn't go so far as to call him a liar.
No, you're lying. You're following the lead.
I would say he's bending the truth maybe a little bit.
Are we learning that people from Chicago are playing Chicago lie?
Maybe.
Is that what we're learning right now?
Possible. I don't know. We would never admit it, though, because we lie. It's what we do. No,
fair point.
He's just saying what. Look, man, I always try and caution people against putting too much stock in what a guy says at a press conference. He's just saying what he thinks Bears fans want to hear.
But
you know what I mean?
But he doesn't have to say this.
The thing about
nobody made him say that.
The thing about he doesn't take it personally that they passed on him. I think if you're an athlete who competes at that high level, you take it personally on all 10 teams that passed on you. You know what I mean? But when he says, I'm glad that they passed on me, I think he's more saying, I'm happy I'm in Chicago. I'm happy I'm a Bear. Because that's, first of all, how he should feel, or he's going to be miserable every day that he goes to work. But also he's playing the media game. And Justin Fields is just saying what he thinks Bears fans want to hear when he says all that. To call him a liar over something so.
Well, he lied. That's what I call people that lie. Liars.
If you want to, but it's so
Listen,
harmless.
nobody would pick Chicago over San Francisco. Football-wise. Nobody would pick Chicago over San Francisco.
No. In their current state, no.
Nobody.
No.
Not a single person would do that. Here's the problem I have with comparing drafted players, because we always do it. Just because a player that was drafted at one place plays at a certain level doesn't mean they would have played at that same level elsewhere.
For sure.
And we always get into this, right? We always look at that player and say, oh, well, if you just drafted him, then it would. It doesn't always work out that way. It depends on where the player lands, right? What's the talent around that player? How good is the offensive line in front of that player when we're talking quarterback? What is the scheme? Is it a scheme fit? If Mitchell Trubisky plays great for the Steelers, and I'll believe it when I see it, but if Trubisky goes out there and plays great for the Steelers, you will go back and look at Chicago and say, well, yeah, he wasn't the best fit for the scheme that they wanted to run. He wasn't really, and
they're a terrible organization. And that breaks quarterbacks.
Yeah, you have that too.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, you could say, well, the scheme wasn't the perfect fit. So just because one guy does something one place doesn't mean he would do the same exact thing in another.
I agree with you. And look, as a Bears fan, I keep reminding people of that today for some reason. But with the year that they took Trubisky, they passed on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. And I've made the point to many a person who laments that if Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson ends up in a Bears uniform, they probably break them too. They're better than Trubisky because they're just better than Trubisky, just on raw talent and whatever they bring to the field without any help. But those guys don't turn out to be the guys that they were in Houston and in Kansas City, respectively. But you still, as a fan, you can't help but if somehow, some way, the Bears don't break another quarterback and Justin Fields goes on to a Hall of Fame career and Trey Lance ends up being a bust, and I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying down that hypothetical timeline, if that happens, it's going to sting for 49ers fans going, man, we could have had that guy, or Mac Jones, another guy who went after Trey Lance. You can't take the human nature out of people to watch guys who your team succeeded on go on to do great things and not go, man, what could have been,
So I was going to bring up Mac Jones because I think, it's more about Mac and Lance than it is about Fields and Lance because Shanahan's on record saying it was between those two guys. So it doesn't sound like the Niners were that interested in Fields. It came down to Mac Jones or Trey Lance.
Yeah, but it didn't have to come down to those two guys.
No, of course not.
What I mean?
They could have picked Fields. They could have done whatever they wanted. They could have stayed at 12, and they could have drafted Mac. But when you have this Lance or that guy conversation, I think it's going to be more about Mac because those were the two guys that was the debate. That was the debate in the room, so to speak, in that moment.
Sure.
Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. Check them out. Week 1 over-unders and monumental change is about to happen. Hear about it next.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
The difference between Prop 26
Health Park with Hub Home Services. Get your tickets and more info at SactownSports.com.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Ramie telling me during the break how he's breaking the
No,
law.
you shouldn't say that on the air. A law-abiding citizen.
Ramie's breaking the law. We won't tell you how.
I did tell you guys at our initial show meeting, if you don't say this is not for the air,
That's right.
It's for the air. And I didn't tell you this is not for the air.
We can't talk about the song on the air.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, what is this? Is this something while I was out? One of the 55 days I missed the last 2 months?
Sort of.
I'm going to have to get this off the air. Now I'm bothered.
Yeah, I can't. This is, I mean, it's a hot beat. Let's be real. It slaps. But this is literally an inside joke between Verlon and myself.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We
So
can't-
JJ's on the outside looking into it?
we can't.
I know. I got
you saw this too? Oh, okay.
It was a viral sensation.
It went viral for a minute for reasons we cannot discuss.
All right. Take your word for it.
I'll tell you in the break.
Okay.
All right.
Good, because if you don't, I'm going to tell on you.
And what's the name of the song so people can Google it and they can also find out why it went viral?
Wait, do we want to do that? I don't know if we want to do that, Ramie. We don't know who's listening.
Fair.
Don't know if we want to
All
do
right.
that.
Yeah.
Hopefully I talked over a lot so nobody heard him. Hopefully. I try to get in there. I heard fee. I said, do we really want to? Do we really want to do it? All right, speaking of music, let's have a little bit of music here. We got over-unders coming up for week 1 of the NFL season, and we throw a little college football game in there at the very end for you as well.
Use the same music, but
I'm not going to listen to that for 17 weeks.
And we
2
have,
years is too much. I can't even make 17 weeks.
and we have a multiple monumental changes that we got to talk about, which we will go through. But before we get to the over-unders, Joe Davidson, Sacramento Bee, just tweeted out, you high school football fans, canceled games as of 4:45. Grant and Freedom, Nevada Union, Colfax, Amador, Union Mine, Burbank, and Ponderosa. Those 4 games have been canceled.
3,500 floor and block, Burbank.
There you go. I don't know what that means, but there you go.
It's the address there, Nick. It's my alma mater.
Okay. All right then. All right, over-unders. Green Bay at Minnesota, 46.5, Ramie.
I'm going to go under because I think Green Bay's defense is going to be much improved this year, and I think there will be a learning curve for Aaron Rodgers and his Devontae Adams-less wide receiver core.
Yeah.
I don't think scoring will be as plentiful in this one as we're used to seeing between these two teams. I'm taking the under.
JJ.
I'm going over. I think both teams will at least score 21, so I just need another score in there. Give me the over.
I'm going with the under. I agree with Ramie. I just think week 1 would be a lot of growing pains.
Give me the over. Rodgers, Cousins, the Minnesota cornerback situation, Patrick Peterson and Cam Dantzler. I don't feel great about that. So give me the over. Kansas City at Arizona, 53.5.
That's a big
53.5. It is.
I'm going to take the over, though. I have faith in both these quarterbacks that they can put up, and I have very little faith in both these defenses. Give me the over in the 53.5, KC in Arizona.
You know, they the boys down there in Vegas, they know how to place them because it's interesting. I see this at about a 28-24 game, 28-25. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under and trust that everybody stays under 31 team.
I'm going over. I think we're going to see a good old-fashioned shootout.
Good old-fashioned
I
shootout.
think you have to do a Southern accent when you say that, Chris.
What's that?
I think you have to do a Southern accent when you say a good old-fashioned shootout.
Brian Kelly.
Is that a rule? I'm going under. I think Kansas City will score 30, but I don't trust the Cardinals without DeAndre Hopkins. Cleveland at Carolina, 41.5. This is a low number, 41.5.
I'm going to take – that's as low that's a really low number. I almost want to take the under, but that's such a – you got to figure each of these teams can score 21 points, right?
Right.
Maybe, actually, no, I'm taking the under. I'm going to go with the under. I'm taking the under. Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield with the new team, I'm taking the under. Very motivated Baker Mayfield, though. He could go off. That would mess up the whole
said what
number.
you said. You
I'm
made
taking
the
the under. I'm going to take the under.
JJ.
Yeah, I'm going under too, brother. I think this is a 21-14, 21-13, 21-10. I just don't trust both of the quarterbacks. Give me the under.
I'm also going under. I could see it being like 14-10.
10? Yeah, oh boy.
I could see just nothing happening.
I'm going to be that guy. I'm going over.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you why. I think both quarterbacks will turn the football over multiple times. Short fields.
Putting the other offense in good position.
Yep. Short fields, 41.5 is low. College football, one college football game that we squeeze in, Kentucky at Florida. 52 is the number.
That seems like kind of a big number. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under on this one.
Taking the under.
Yeah, I'm going under. I'm calling it. I think Florida's going to win. The spread, I believe, is 5 right now, 5.5, somewhere around there, 6. I'm taking Florida for the W, and I'm going under.
I'm going over just because you guys are going under.
That boy. Play the game.
Lone wolfing it. I like it.
I'm going under. Kentucky scored 37 last week at home against Miami of Ohio. So I'm not, and I know, Stoops has that team playing really good football last couple of years. You get all fired up because Calipari called it a basketball school. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you say that? So I'm gonna go under. How dare you? Yeah, Florida, I don't think is a great offense. Anthony Richardson's a really good quarterback, one of the best in the country. But yeah, go under. All right, so that'll do it for the over-unders this week. Monumental change. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports. Look, we talk heavy football on Fridays, especially before the King season begins. But we did want to jump to something else here for a couple of minutes, because when we talk about monumental change, Ramie, this really is monumental change in the game of baseball. Huge rules changes today in the MLB. Jeff Passan at ESPN writes, the league's competition committee approved a pitch clock of 15 seconds with empty bases, 20 seconds with runners on, a defensive alignment that must include 2 fielders on each side of the second base bag with both feet on the dirt. So shifts, see you later. And also rules limiting pickoff moves, and they expanded the size of bases, which is funny to me. I don't know why. Just how many times will you expand the size of the base? Imagine having gigantic bases in baseball. Just huge bases. It's weird to me. But the vote was not unanimous. Player reps voted no on the shift and no on the pitch clock portions of the changes. Here is Jason Stark talking about all of this newness.
This is a monumental day in the history of our sport, Brian. I think this is the single most significant day of rule change impact since the DH rule. That's almost 50 years ago, since lowering the mound in 1968. I think it'll have a profound impact on the entertainment value of the game, and it'll have some impact on offense. I don't see anything that's being announced today that is bad for our sport or worrisome for our sport. I'm all in.
I agree with Jason Stark, as I usually do. And the shift thing, I've been reluctant. I've pushed back on that because I don't like legislating strategy out of a game.
Right.
And I see a bunch of people like, why do you have to get rid of the shift? Why can't guys just learn to go the other way? And that's so much easier said than done. Like, there's a reason why guys can't go the other way with the frequency that they did in the past, because every pitcher, and you face 4 or 5 of them in a game in the modern day, is coming out there and throwing gas, 98 plus. And it's hard to go the other way when gas is coming in on your hands. And every time a guy is able to do it, and people go, see, you can do it. You can beat the shift. You can go the other way. If you look, more times than not, the pitcher missed their mark and they put it on the outer part of the plate, allowing the batter to go out and get it and go the other. It's not as easy as just go the other way. But the thing is, honestly, while the shift seems like the most drastic and dramatic change in all these that we're talking about, Nick, I think that will have the least impact, because there was an article a couple months ago. I don't believe you were here that day. We talked about it a little bit on the show.
Probably not.
We talked about it on the show. They tried this in the minor leagues of the rule of you have to have 2 players on either side of the bag, and all their feet have to be on the dirt. And when they tried this version of the rule change, it had negligible impact because, yes, he'll have two guys on one side of the bag, but he'll be 1 foot to that side of the bag. And, yeah, his feet will be on the dirt when the pitcher releases the ball, but he's immediately going to start backtracking to get into his usual spot in the outfield. And statistically, it had almost no change whatsoever. The pitch clock, I think people are only thinking about that as far as, oh, well, we're not going to have to wait as long in between pitches. I think that it has an impact on the game because you'll see pitchers fatigue quicker. You'll see batters be able to take advantage of that fatigue, and there will be more offense. However, while that'll speed up the game, it'll also slow down the game because this is the tug of war that baseball finds itself in of wanting more offense and more action, but wanting quicker games, and those two things don't really jive. I think the thing people are selling short, and you just made a joke of it a little bit, is the bigger bases. I think that I think that because, Nick, when you're talking about stealing bases and the success rate versus failure rate, you're talking about fractions of a second, man.
Yeah.
That base being an inch and a half closer to first makes a world of difference. And I, for one, that's one of the things I really do miss about old school baseball is the stolen base kind of becoming a thing of the past. I love all these rules. It's not often I say it. Give Rob Manfred a pat on the back.
It's a fantastic point. I just more kind of made it as the comical look of just giant bases, like circus style out there, which would be very
a
strange.
Player from the Red Sox today in batting practice. I forget which one it was. I just saw it. Oh, it was Rich Hill. And he took, the big, foam chest pads that guys will sometimes wear in practice.
Yeah.
He took one of those and laid it down at third and pretended to take a lead off.
So there you go. I'm not the only one thinking it. 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Sactownsports.com is the website, sactownsports.com. Ramie and I will see how much we can get wrong about this NFL season coming up next.
Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports, 1140. sports talk in the afternoon. Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports, 1140.
Kelly's birthday this weekend, and I still have no idea what we're doing. I feel awful about
That's good husbanding.
Yeah, I know, awful about it. But it's not my fault. Well,
Happy birthday, Kelly.
Hold on, it is kind of my fault.
I didn't forget.
We moved to Sacramento because of me, not because of her. So I guess it is. When you think of it that way, it's absolutely my fault. But, if we were back home in, Rhode Island, or if we were in Virginia Beach, which really she calls home, even though she's from Rhode Island, we'd have probably a bunch of people, a big bus rolling out. But it's, we're trying to figure it out. And plus, if she didn't dive off of a Lime scooter, I might have started to put plans together a little bit earlier, too.
Sure, blame her. You're not making this any better, pal.
I mean,
unfortunately, as it is right now, you probably want to stay inside somewhere.
That is true. Yeah. No, it's supposed to cool off to like 95 this weekend.
Weekend.
A comfortable, pleasant 95 in September.
86 tomorrow.
Whatever.
86 tomorrow, which means before about 3 o'clock, it'll likely be in the low 80s. And then once the sun goes down, we're talking low to mid 70s. And as the night goes on, you might be talking 60s. You'll learn.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Love those 70s and 60s.
In 2 weeks, I think Ramie's going to be like, you know what? The weather's pretty awesome out here.
I hope so.
It didn't make the last, month and a half worth it because it's been awful. But anyway, I digress. Let's do some NFL predictions. Put a little bit of music behind us. Give a little bit of a rhythm, a flow to this puppy. So we're going to do the obligatory thing. We're going to go through the NFL, give you our predictions and see how wrong we can be about this season. We'll go division by division, and then we'll go with the wild card teams, and then we will pick our Super Bowl matchup and who we think wins, okay? Let's start in the AFC East. Ramie, I'll start with this. I think all of us will agree here. Buffalo Bills, right? I mean, I don't think anybody in this division. Miami, I think, is better than they were last year, slightly. I think the Patriots probably take a step back from last year this season.
Really?
Yeah. And
is it the offensive coordinator discombobulation that's got you worried?
Schedule's pretty tough. Offensive line has me a little worried. I think they win 9 games. But listen, they have a chance to win 10 and maybe slide in. They won 10 last year.
The Bills are the class of that division.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
with you.
So Bills, JJ, Bills.
Yes, Bills.
Prahlad, Bills.
Bills.
Clean sweep, right? Yeah. Clean sweep. I just, again, the Jets, I know they were hopeful of being better this year, but they've already got some injuries going on, starting with their quarterback and Zach Wilson. So we all got the Bills. All right, now it gets much tougher. Let's go to the AFC North, fellas. So we're talking Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. Okay, we'll do AFC North. Who do you have, Ramie?
This is a tougher one. I'm a big Joe Burrow guy. I'm a big believer in him. I think what we saw from him last year was a quarterback really emerging as a top 5 type franchise quarterback.
Love Burrow.
And I'm going to ride Joe Burrow to a division championship.
All right. So
I'm torn between him and Lamar, but I'm going with Burrow.
You've got Cincy. JJ.
Yeah, I'm taking the guy without a contract. I'm taking Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. I'd need to see it again with Burrow. I get it. I know he's a good he's a good quarterback, but for me to say he's great, I need to see it one more time. I'll take Baltimore.
All right.
I'm going to take Cincinnati.
So we've got one Cincinnati. No, we've got two Cincinnati. We've got one Baltimore. I'm going to even it up. I'm going with the Ravens. So we'll go 2-2.
Would any of us be taking Cleveland if Deshaun Watson wasn't suspended?
I would.
I probably would be too.
I would not.
That's a good question.
I think their defense is strong. I would definitely be.
Yeah, I think I probably would be.
All right, let's jump to
I just always like to go, you haven't done it yet.
AFC South. Let's go AFC South, gentlemen. The AFC South, we've got Houston. We've got. I just think I licked my windscreen.
At least it's yours. It's not like a community.
Yeah, good thing it's not Dave's.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Only your germs on that thing.
I've done that in the past. I used to spray my windscreen with Lysol.
Yeah, you spray everything with Lysol.
I don't do that anymore.
And then you look at me like I'm crazy because I'm having a sneezing fit after I just inhaled Lysol for 3 straight minutes.
Detecting more lies in the studio today from you. All right, so Texans stink. We all agree. Jags not that good. This is between the Titans and the Colts. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Indianapolis.
Same. I think
Yeah.
Matty Ryan is
Yeah.
a calming presence.
Do you feel like Tennessee is
for
kind of on the
Indianapolis
down
Colts.
slope?
I've never been a big Tennessee believer.
I'm not a big Tannehill
And it
guy
mostly comes
at
to
all.
comes down to
Yeah,
Tannehill.
not a big Tannehill guy. Look at what happened last year in the playoffs.
Give me the Colts.
I was at Golden Road watching that game last year. Whoa, boy, that playoff game. Tannehill was brutal. All right, so we both got Indy. JJ, who do you have?
I'm following the cab. I'm staying up there in the 317. I'm going with the Colts as well. I think Carson steadies the road for the Colts. I'll take the Colts.
I'm taking the Titans.
Woo!
I just don't trust it. I don't trust Indianapolis.
Look at you. Ryan Tannehill, lover.
All right. Also have Derrick Henry on my fantasy football.
Well, there's the truth. The truth comes out. All right, let's go to what I think is the best division in football this year, the AFC West. Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. Ramie, who you got?
I'm going chalk, and I'm going to keep riding Patrick Mahomes and say he keeps winning divisions, and I'm taking the Chiefs.
JJ.
I'm going to go ahead and put Chris in for the Chiefs, right, Chris?
Oh, that's a definite.
Absolutely. Okay. I know we didn't have to go there as I was typing it up. I'm actually going non-chalk. I'm going with the team that did not make the playoffs last year. I'm going with the Chargers. I think the Chargers take the next step. I think Derwin James being healthy, J.C. Jackson over there, even though he's not healthy. Look, I'll take Austin Eckler and ride a friend of the show. Go ahead. Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, Eckler is a friend of the show. He was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
He was awesome. He's going to be in the media when he's done. There's no doubt. I'm going to go with Kansas City. I'm going to stick with Mahomes and Andy Reid. But I do think if there's a team to unseat them, I agree with JJ. I love the Chargers. Brandon Staley scares the crap out of me, though. We saw what he did last year. I understand being aggressive, but his fourth down decision-making, especially in that last game against the Raiders, was atrocious. So it's not like Andy Reid makes great decisions all the time either, but I'm going to go with Kansas City. All right, let's jump to the NFC. NFC East, fellas. We got Philly, Washington, the Giants, the Cowboys, Ramie.
Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I think the Cowboys are a better football team than people know.
Do you now?
They were rolling last year before they lost
now?
Dak Prescott. And I know they lost Amari Cooper, traded Amari Cooper in the offseason, but I think a lot of people sell that team short and how much Dak Prescott changes the equation.
JJ.
I said I wouldn't take the Cowboys anymore for the rest of the year, so I'm going to go ahead and stick with that, even though I do think it's a two-team race. I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles. I'm going to ride Philadelphia on the way to the NFC East win.
They seem to be a hot pick. And I've seen people have them coming out of the NFC.
No,
I don't buy the Eagles.
They must be on the same stuff Nick was talking about earlier.
Verlad.
I'm taking Dallas as well.
I'm going Philly. I'm with JJ. I'm going Philly. Dallas's offensive line is not as good as it used to be. I think Ezekiel Elliott is kind of on the downtrend. I know they've got Pollard, but Zeke is going to want the football, and that could cause some stuff. Gallup is not healthy just yet after that ACL. Schultz wants a new contract. They've got some things going on there in Dallas, so I'm going to go with Philly. Let's go to the NFC North. This is all about Ramie. We got Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay. This could be the second worst division in football. I do not like the Vikings defense whatsoever. The Lions are going to stink. Dan Campbell's crying at practice and training camp. Chicago's not good.
Real men cry, right?
I'm going to go with Green Bay, not because I'm in love with Green Bay, because I agree, Ramie, you said earlier in the show, the receivers. I've said this a couple times during this program over the last few weeks. I think this could be the most challenging season that Rodgers has had since he took over for Favre. You look at Alan Lazard, he's hurt. He's probably not going to play this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They got a bunch of young receivers. Sammy Watkins has never really been Sammy Watkins, the guy we expected him to be. So I'm going to go with the Packers, but that's really because the rest of this division is not great.
Give me Bears. No, I'm kidding. I'll go with the Packers. They win that division every year till further notice. It's the Packers.
JJ.
I'm going with the Vikings. Listen to the schedule. Yeah, you got the Packers and at the Eagles, but you got the Lions, Saints, Bears, at Dolphins. You got the Cardinals, who Nick doesn't trust, the Commanders, Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, Jets, Lions, Colts, Giants. Packers, Bears. Give me the Vikings, man. I think they win the division this year. I do think that Green Bay is going to struggle. It's definitely all on Aaron Rodgers. As much as I don't trust the Mr. Cousins over there, I'm going to say Dalvin Cook has a bounce back year, and you better handcuff his running back mate as well.
Jay sold me. I'm taking Vikings.
All right.
All right, going to speed them up. We're short on time. Let's go NFC South. I think this is the worst division in football.
Bucks.
I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Yeah,
Bucks.
that's easy.
Easy work.
Bucks. And finally, I think the best division in football, arguably along with the AFC West, maybe the second best, the NFC West. Of course, we know who's in that division. I know they stunk out loud last night, but I'm still going to go with the Rams. I have them. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm not going to let last night change it. I'm going with the Rams.
I think the 49ers win the division, and the Rams finish third behind the Cardinals.
Look at you.
How about that?
Wow.
How about that?
How about that? JJ?
I'm going to go ahead and take the stunner. I think the Rams don't make the playoffs, and I don't think the Niners win the division. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I am taking the Niners, and I also don't think the Rams are going to make the playoffs.
Wow. Okay, then. You guys hate my pick. All right, wild card. My wild cards are the AFC. Chargers, the Raiders, the Bengals.
Same.
Chargers, Raiders, Bengals.
Actually, switch Bengals with Baltimore because we have them flipped.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I have the Bengals, I have the Chiefs, and I have the Titans.
I will go with I think the Dolphins snag one.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I'm going to take the Broncos and the Chargers.
All right. NFC. I got the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Vikings. That last NFC team, by the way, is just good luck.
Yeah, nobody out of the East other than whoever wins that division. That's just a bad division. I do think the Vikings get one. I'm a little bit intrigued by the Saints. I think the Saints get one of them too, and then the Cardinals get the third.
Give me the Niners, the Packers, and the Cowboys.
I've got the Packers, Cardinals, and Eagles.
What is your Super Bowl, Ramie?
Now this I struggled with. I'm going to go with. I think the Packers come out of the NFC.
Ooh.
And I think they lose to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Packers, Chiefs. All right, JJ.
I have the Bills and the Niners, and I think the Bills win it all.
I've got a repeat of a couple of years ago, Chiefs versus Bucks. Patrick Mahomes getting his revenge.
That'd be good.
So I am going to change my Super Bowl pick because last night I do a podcast with Greg Bedard, and I picked the Rams in the Super Bowl. I'm shook at that now. Like,
really? You're changing your Super Bowl prediction after week one?
I think they win the division. I think they win the division, but it doesn't matter. I got the Bills winning it. So there you have it.
All right. There it is.
I mean, I'm sure we're bound to hit something there out of all of us. Hopefully. Somebody will get something right. It's time to see the return of Pro Rodeo to Marysville next Saturday and Sunday. I'm reading an ad, Ramie. September 17th and 18th. For ticket info, go to MarysvilleStampede.com. What is everyone talking about from Thursday Night Football that had nothing to do with the game last night? Find out in 90 seconds.
Sactown Sports 1140 is broadcasting live on YouTube. Just two guys rubbing elbows, talking sports, and lots of other stuff.
They always keep you on edge. That's really crazy interesting.
It's Kittle and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. Are you getting tired of me doing like play-by-play of tennis during the break yet?
A little bit.
I'm watching Tiafoe and Alcaraz in here, and
I don't know who either of those people are.
Okay, so Tiafoe is an American, and he's made it to the semifinal of the U.S. Open, and it's been a number of years since that has happened, since an American has been there, a male American has been there. USA, baby.
Am I right?
I'm getting sick of you.
Attaching patriotism to sports is just one of the dumbest things.
That's not what I'm giving you the context.
It's just one of the dumbest things we do.
Thank you.
No, I agree with you. It's like when I watch the UFC and people are chanting USA, I'm like, we're doing this?
Dude ain't fighting for
St.
you.
Rocky Balboa. What are we
Dude
doing?
ain't fighting for right. He's not fighting Drago.
Now, I will say,
country.
I'm all in when it comes to the Olympics.
I hate the Olympics. We'll fight when the time comes.
I love the Olympics.
They're the worst.
Summer Olympics. Winter Olympics, yeah.
I'll save that bullet.
I'm hot.
I'll save that bullet.
I love the
tell you
I don't
why
care.
the Olympics are the worst.
Well, they're
when they roll back around.
I love them. I don't care. I love the
They're
Summer
so
Olympics.
stupid. They're the worst.
Your quarterback is still a liar.
Okay,
take
you
that.
say so.
And you're gonna eat a really you're gonna eat a really hot chip on Monday. So take that.
I'm probably eating a really hot chip on Monday.
Get my revenge just
that
watching you.
That I accept.
Just the sweat pouring down your forehead. Did you see what Isaiah McKenzie did last night?
I saw
for the
it.
Bills?
I saw it live. I saw it when it happened. I was like, did he just say it's a boy? And what the hell is he talking about?
Like, what just happened there? So Isaiah McKenzie, wide receiver for the Bills last night, scores a touchdown. And apparently he had this conversation with his sister before the game because there's a video of his sister at a bar with a bunch of people, and they're all watching the game. And McKenzie scores, and his sister says something like, come on, say it, or is he going to say it? He's going to say it. And McKenzie looks into the camera and says, it's a boy. He screams, it's a boy. It was literally McKenzie on national television doing a gender reveal of his child.
And gender reveals are usually the worst. You know what I mean? They're the worst, and they're never.
What do you like? I feel like there might be a list of 3 things that you like.
Am I alone on this?
No.
Aren't gender reveals usually terrible?
Awful.
I don't care.
Because it's either get screwed up.
Hold on. Doesn't it depend on what they do?
No,
you don't like any gender reveal.
This is the first time I've seen a gender reveal, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." This is the first time, literally ever, that I've seen one, and I thought that was
actually the woman that got hit in the face by the baseball. That was pretty.
Yeah, that was pretty good too. But that wasn't. I mean, that's not how it was supposed to go.
Yes.
When it goes terribly wrong, those are the best gender reveals.
I just want to point out how much Verlad and Ramie just hope for the worst thing to happen.
It is a little scary
for sure.
It's like they are rooting for the worst.
I mean, it's fun.
I feel like there's literally a handful of things in this life that you might like.
Maybe.
Handful.
We'll stumble on to them, I'm sure. Yeah.
Summer Olympics stink.
They're the
gender reveals stink. Anything warmer than 85 stinks.
The woman that created the gender reveal hates gender reveals.
Does she really?
Yes.
Good.
Was that, by the way, a gender reveal the other day? Was that a gender reveal when what was it? I was watching it.
No, last night.
Yeah,
game.
Somebody ran out onto the field.
There was like a pink smoke bomb set off on the field. And
that was not a gender reveal.
I thought that might have also been a gender reveal, and I was like, I continue to hate these things.
It was 2 young ladies. They were advocating for some awareness.
Oh, is it another protest?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of them. So it's tough to keep track of all those.
I mean,
there's a lot of things going on.
I'm all for people's right to protest.
Too. I'm just saying it's tough to keep track of everything.
And also, it's just a bad forum. Like, nobody knows what you're protesting. Nobody knows why you're out there. You know what I mean? We just know you interrupted the game. That's all we know.
Like, somebody ran on the field and there's like a pink bomb thing happening.
Like Colin Kaepernick, we knew immediately after the game what was going on. I was like, oh, all right, I know the cause now. I don't know what these ladies were on the field with a smoke bomb last night for. Why people are gluing themselves to NBA floors.
I thought it was like a naked dude just running around with a pink bomb.
I thought too.
Like, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, here real quick, I'll jump in there. It was 2 ladies and it was Direction Action. Let's see, it was for the righttorescue.com, a website that claims to be raising awareness for whistleblowers facing prison time for exposing factory farm abuses.
That's a lot.
Good cause. Good cause.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. Most people don't know that.
No idea.
Good on you, JJ, for getting the word out.
I wouldn't know that pink was associated with it either.
I had no idea.
There's a lot of things about,
Exactly.
Pink.
Can't keep up with all this.
breast cancer, right, is pink.
Yep. There's a lot of things that are represented
Gender
by
reveals.
the color pink. Gender reveals. Exactly.
Anyway, you still don't like a lot of things in this world. So I thought it was a cool gender reveal. How dare I? How dare I? So with this show during the football season, we have this idea, and it's actually going to extend beyond the football season.
It's year-round.
Yes, this is year-round.
Yes, this is a year-round sport we're about to play right here.
So it's called On the Record, and we'll get a fancy rejoin with some music eventually with this. But it's going to be On the Record. And Ramie, this is your wheelhouse.
Yes,
Explain to the people what we're doing here.
It's quite simply going on the record with predictions. And a lot of sports talk shows,
Please tell us what On the Record is. It's going on the record.
A lot of sports talk shows, they make predictions. They go off into the ether. They never revisit them. They're right. They're wrong. They'll only remind you when they're right. We are going to keep record. We are going to keep track. We are going to keep a batting average of the accuracy of everybody's predictions every week. And if you take a big swing, it's a home run, boys. If you take a big swing on a prediction that doesn't appear likely to come true, we put that in the home run category. Are we all on the same page, huh?
Yes.
All
so
right.
let's have you start off.
Okay.
With your On the Record.
I know we don't have the rejoin, just football music.
Play some music.
Can I get just some football music for On the Record? Just a little football music to get me in the mood.
You're hyped for that.
Any music.
I love football
Any
music.
music. Any music.
I love NFL films music.
I love music.
Should win all the Grammys.
What
It really
you got,
should
Ramie?
win all the Grammys. My first prediction, there it is. Oh, now I'm tingly again. My first prediction, we'll start simple, and I've made this prediction in the last segment. I'm going to put it on the record, though. The 49ers win the NFC West in 2022.
All right, so
Is that a single?
That's a single.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little single.
All right.
It's going to take
Punch
quite
and
some
Judy.
time to figure out if he
Niners win.
got a hitter or not.
Niners win the NFC West. All right, mine's going to be a single. I think Baker Mayfield loses to Cleveland this weekend.
Ooh.
In Carolina against Jacoby Brissett. I think he gets too emotional. I think he turns the football over like 2 or 3 times. And I think the Browns beat the Panthers, and Baker ends up whining in the postgame about something.
All right.
So single. Start off with a single. JJ.
I'm in the alleyway. I'm going Gapper. Give me a double. I don't think this is that far-fetched, but I think a lot of people could see him being hurt. I'm going Saquon Barkley will rush for more than 1,000 yards.
I like that.
I like that.
Give me a double.
I like that.
Like that.
Barkley rushes for more than 1,000.
All right, I'm going to have to see what you guys think of this. Is it big or not big? Devontae Adams will have more receiving touchdowns than the Packers wide receivers this week.
All the wide receivers combined?
All the wide receivers combined.
That's a big swing right there.
I love that one.
I think that's a home run.
Yeah,
we'll
go
like
big
that
swing.
One. I really like
of
that
course,
one.
we'll revisit it in like 18 weeks, but
that's the fun of
I'm
this.
saying for the week one.
That's the fun of this.
Week one.
Okay. All right.
I like it even better.
Okay. Everybody's making week 1 predictions. Let me make
No.
a week 1 prediction.
No, don't feel the
No, I'm
pressure.
going to.
Wait, you can make more than one prediction?
I thought we were doing
It's 3,
a
right?
3-pack of
Yeah.
a 3-pack of
I'm
predictions.
entirely unready for this. Go ahead.
Hey,
I'll go last here. I'll work on my
Okay.
next 2.
I think this is a home run anytime you make this prediction. The Lions win on Sunday. The Lions beat the Eagles on Sunday in
Might be a trouble
Detroit.
here, brother.
Lions beat the Eagles on Sunday. That's my home run swing for the week.
Dan
And
Campbell,
on the record.
Dan Campbell hit somebody with a chair.
I don't think the Lions are good. I just got a hunch. I just got a feeling. And I don't believe in the Eagles.
All right.
Wow.
I know.
JJ.
Yeah, this is kind of I guess we're gonna go a double. I'll go double again. I think my boys, the UT Longhorns, they keep it within 2 touchdowns against Alabama. They'll cover the back end. I'm going. They will lose by less than 14.
Well, that's at least a double. That's at least. I'll give you a double on that one.
Okay.
Okay, this is just random. This week, one game in the NFL will go into overtime.
One game. That's a single.
Yeah, that's a single.
That's a single.
One game is bound to go to overtime.
I think this is a home run. This should qualify as a home
come
run.
up with on the fly.
On the fly. Justin Herbert will throw 50 touchdowns this year.
Ooh, that's a home run.
That's a home run. That's
50.
That's big right there.
50.
All right.
All right.
Back now we're on the third
We're
pick.
on the third one.
Third pick.
Third one.
And put it on the record. Now they don't all have to be sports related. And just to illustrate that point, I'm going to make one non-sports related prediction here.
Attaboy.
All right. Kim and Kanye get back together before Christmas. Kim and Kanye.
I like that.
Get back together before Christmas.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
I actually like that.
All right.
Before Christmas.
Before Christmas.
Okay, I'm putting this in the record. So I got to
it's
make
the
sure
holiday
I'm on
season.
point.
They get caught in the spirit.
They're feeling
you know?
good.
You want to get the family back together, open gifts. Kim and Kanye get back together before Christmas.
All right, JJ.
Man, I feel like I got to go back to the drawing board after that.
I know, right? You go Kanye and Kim.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm hot potato to Chris.
All right, he's coming back strong this week. Derrick Henry will lead the league in rushing this week. No one will have more yards than him.
I like it.
What you swinging at? Is that a single, a double? What we giving that, fellas?
What do you think, Ramie?
That's a double, I would think.
All right, I'm gonna go double. I think this is a double. Chris will be the judge of this. I'm gonna go professional wrestling.
Ooh.
By Christmas, we will find out that The Rock is going to wrestle at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns.
I think it's double.
Go double.
Watch WrestleMania.
The Rock will be at WrestleMania this year. It'll be announced before we hit 2023.
All right, JJ.
All right, I'm going to the world of boxing myself. I think that Deontay Wilder, who fights next month in October, he will knock out his opponent in the first round.
Deontay. All right, first round knockout. Was that a double?
I'll take the double.
Yeah.
First round knockout, man. That's
But Deontay.
He's going Robert Herlinis, by the way.
Get that heavy right hand. So
there it is.
We'll see how it goes.
On the record. Kim and Kanye.
Yes,
sir.
A few last words about the Niners 2022 season coming up next.
Live and past broadcasts of the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross and Cattles and Ramie. Interviews, podcasts, and more. They all live on the Sactown Sports 1140 app. Download the app now in the App Store and Google Play.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Coastside Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Coastside Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your love life back.
One guy's trying not to throw furniture. That's a personal foul. While the other's still trying to find some. Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson tomorrow night. Stockton's own in the main event tomorrow night against Tony Ferguson. That fight was changed. Hamzat Chimaev missed weight, so they messed around with the card, UFC 279, and it'll be Holland versus Chimaev instead. I actually think the card is better now tomorrow night after this change, so check that out. Again, Nate Diaz fighting against Tony Ferguson.
Isn't that guy always at a major disadvantage, though, when he steps in at the last second? Hasn't been preparing for a fight?
No, they've all been preparing.
Oh, okay.
They were all going to fight. They just changed the fights.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. All
right. Also, I'm very happy Ramie just reminded me. I would have eventually remembered tonight, but you reminded me when we went to break.
Mm-hmm.
Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Cobra Kai returns.
I thought last season was kind of weak. I hope it gets better again.
Oh, I really like last season.
You liked last season?
But my favorite Karate Kids is Karate Kid 3. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's my favorite.
All right, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes this season. We're all into that show, so we'll see if.
Yeah, there was a tie-in to Karate Kid 3 in the teaser for the season, wasn't like the cliffhanger.
So we'll see if we approve or not. All right, let's get to some Niners over-unders. Let's do this quickly before we bid you adieu. Some Niners season over-unders. Ramie, Lance, completion percentage, 60% over-under.
I'm going to go over. 60 is not that high a bar to set. I'm going to go over.
JJ?
Over.
That was quick.
Over.
I'll be that guy. I'm going under.
All right.
Josh Allen, it took him 3 years to get to 60%.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna go under. Jimmy G starts. You knew we had to talk about Jimmy G today at some point. Ramie was gonna make us. Jimmy G starts 3 over under.
That's the over under is 3.
Yes, the over under is 3.
And these are starts, not games that he plays in.
This is from the Athletic.
Because I think
these
those are
starts.
I think those are two different numbers. I think he plays in at least 4 games. I'm gonna say he starts. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say push. I'm gonna say he starts in 3 games.
Chicken. JJ.
Under.
I'm going under.
I'm going under.
All right.
Lance is QB1. You ride with him. I don't think he'll be catastrophically bad. So I would go under on that. Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel, who has more receptions?
I think Ayuk. I'm buying the hype and everything that we heard about him and Trey Lance working together all offseason and having real chemistry in training camp. I think it's Ayuk. I think he becomes the number 1 receiver this year.
You could see the chemistry last year. He's definitely favoring Ayuk. I'm going Ayuk.
Also going Ayuk.
Clean sweep. He'll also see less coverage, with Deebo out there. So
True.
More chemistry, deep threat.
Yep.
Give me Ayuk. Last one, fellas. Nick Bosa, 16 sacks, Ramie.
It's a big number. But now with 17 games, that changes the equation a little bit. I'm going to take the over. I think he gets over 16.
I'm taking the over as well. I think he's 17-18.
I'll go under.
Somebody wants to text in that Verlad's Nick Bosa hater. How dare you? You didn't go over 16 sacks. I'm going over. He had 15.5 last season. He'll be even better this year. I'm going to go over. Remember, he continues to play for that contract.
Yep.
That motivation.
That is true.
Week 1 of the NFL season. Very exciting coming up on Sunday. Of course, again, UFC 279. If you're into that kind of thing, is tomorrow night with Stockton's Nate Diaz in the main event. Should be a fun weekend. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I can't wait for Sunday.
I'm into Tiafo.
Yeah, you're way into the tennis, but I can't wait for Sunday, man. Oh, I can't wait for Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be such a great day.
It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully.
The one thing
hopefully it's not a bad.
And I noticed this last night with the earlier start times than what I'm used to, having grown up in the Midwest my whole life.
Yes.
Once football season rolls around, I plan my meals around football. Like I'll make a big dinner for Sunday night football.
Right.
5 o'clock, 5:30. It's too early to eat dinner. I don't know what to do about my meal planning around football this year, being out here on the West Coast. It messes my whole clock up. Y'all eating dinner at 5? Do you eat dinner with football?
So something else that you don't like.
I guess, yeah.
And keep a list. Thanks to Verlad. Thanks to JJ. Great job, Ramie. I'll talk to you on Monday.
Yes, you will.
Oh, maybe we'll talk tomorrow. We might hang out tomorrow. So maybe that'll happen.
I am down.
As long as you're somewhat happy tomorrow.
Wherever we go, I'm going to hate it.
You're going to walk in. Why this place? We'll be back on Monday. Everybody have a safe, good weekend. Be healthy, all that good stuff. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports.
I know you ain't but remember what I taught you. Keep your heart 3 stacks. Keep your heart. Hey, keep your heart 3 stacks. Keep your heart. Man, these girls